What is going on, everyone? Rex Sparks here, along with Senju Saiyan, and I said it during my ramble on Naruto the other week ago, or has it been 2 weeks since
I
the
think it's
manga?
been probably 2 or 3 weeks. Well, it's not been three. It's probably been two, well, 1 or 2 weeks probably.
During that ramble, I said I was going to do retrospective with Sin, and I did, and here we are. And
Yeah, I didn't think we was gonna end up doing it. We both been pretty busy, which is why our channels haven't been getting a lot of content lately.
yeah, I've just been pumping out what I can on like a 10-minute basis on what I could get out. Other than that, I've been like, oh, let's just leave it at math is evil and and the thing of Satan, and
And
let's just
so
leave
is
it at that.
biology.
And let's just leave it at that and law. God, I hate college. Regardless, school sucks all the way around. But that's not what we're here today.
Unless you're a
Otherwise,
ninja. Unless you're a ninja in this case, because we're talking about Naruto today.
yeah. And you told me when we were trying to do this earlier that you got into it when manga was released.
Yeah, I actually got into it very early because I used to get these Shonen Jumps. I used to buy them. I think it was at like a book fair or something that I ended up used to buy a lot of Shonen Jumps, and I actually have those two Shonen Jumps. I still have them for some reason. Like
Wow.
after all these years, I still have those two old Shonen Jumps, and then one of them was like the first time I ever saw Naruto at all.
First time I ever laid eyes on Naruto was that Toonami promo, and still to this day, I can still remember it.
I mean, when the show first came out, I didn't think it was going to be as big as it ended up becoming. Like, I just didn't think it was going to be that big.
I don't think even Kishimoto expected it to be this big. I think that's why it like dragged on for as long as it has.
But I think we both can agree part one was heck of a lot better and even more original than part two. Because part
Oh yeah,
two went on some old crazy type of stuff that we're gonna be discussing today.
I'm gonna hold back all my little snide comments right now because I have plenty
I know
for
you.
now.
Okay, so first part of Naruto, of course, they first meet up and everything. And those first few episodes, that's what got me in there. When they're introducing the village, these different characters and everything. And as I was saying earlier to you when we was first trying to do this thing and it failed on us,
Uh,
yeah, the that whole arc, like when they started going to or when they did the mission at the land of waves and everything, that's when it kind of got stupid. Well, it didn't get stupid, but it just it started to drag on to me. It started to really drag on. I just wanted them to like hurry up.
for me, it really wasn't that big of a deal because I'm not like that as I am as of right now. Because now that gets on my nerves. Because when stuff drags, I'm like, can we please move this along?
Like it depends on what the anime is to me. Well, now at least. I guess because like back then we were watching it on Toonami, so it was like one episode per week. So you're like, hurry up because you're kind of taking too long with this one part. Like I do understand that the Land of Arcs. I mean, wait, I
Land of
said Land of
Waves.
Arcs. Yeah, yeah,
Land of
Land of
Waves.
Waves. Yeah, I do understand. Like back then, I didn't really appreciate what that arc was supposed to be about, and really, like, it does sort of lay the it sort of lays the building blocks out for different flashbacks that are going to be coming in like the later episodes, and of course, they're always going to be looking back in Naruto, and like I said, back then I really didn't appreciate pretty much what that whole mission was going to teach Naruto and Sasuke, and basically how that was going to tie in the end of Naruto and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Notice how you didn't say Sakura one bit.
Yeah, she like even by the end of the show, she's the character I truly believe that has like the less like she does not have any character development at all. Maybe like physically, like strength wise, she does, but as a shinobi, as a
Shinobi.
no, no, no. What do you call the female shinobis?
Kunoichis, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. As a Kanoichi, she does nothing. Like, come on, she doesn't change at all throughout the whole entire show. Like, she really has minimum growth the entire time.
I'm gonna save this little joke I have for that later when we get to Shippuden.
Yeah,
But right now,
I know you got a lot of jokes. Try
I
to
got
save it
plenty.
because you know what happened last time when we tried to do this earlier.
We went all over the place. We started wrong, and then we went all over the place.
Yeah,
We got
yeah. We don't
sporadic.
want that to happen again.
Okay, so after the Land of Waves, we got to the Chunin arc, which I think we can both agree that's one of the best arcs in part one.
Yep. One of my like during that arc is one of the most like because there's been a lot of times when Naruto has just like really gotten on my nerves. Like him as a character, he's just so annoying sometimes. But it's like part one. In part one, I was really rooting for Naruto. Like in part one, I really liked his character more in
Oh
part
yeah, most
one than
definitely.
in part two. Like in part two, Naruto just gets like sort of like mentally retarded at some time.
Oh,
Like at some points. At some
most
points, he
definitely.
can be very dumb. But during that arc, and he's fighting Garra and everything, and he's finally getting to, show Sasuke up, and then he's proving that he's a great shinobi in front of all these other people and all the other nations and everything during Neji's fight, which is one of my favorite fights from the series. And speaking of that fight, I'm kind of skipping sort of a little bit past some of the other little things that happened during the tuning exam, such as the other teams from Konoha meeting up and everything. And that's what really made the tuning exams like a big thing, is because it just introduced a lot of different characters. You had Gata in there that everyone was freaking out about. I mean, the tuning exams was just awesome. The only thing I really hate the only thing that I really hate, looking back on it, is just the fact that they really didn't, they really didn't finish it
No, we that's
because it
right.
ended up
We didn't finish.
because it ended up getting interrupted pretty much due to them trying to, Orochimaru and
The invasion.
Gata's, the invasion, yeah, the sound, I mean, not the sound village, not the sound village, the sand village,
The
the sand
Sand
village
Village
in
and pretty much
oh
like
yeah,
them.
yeah, it was the Sound Village, the Sound and the Sand Village, basically. In fact, I kind of want to say like the invasion part of things. Like I kind of wanted the tuning exam to like finish out. Like I really wanted to actually just let it go its course. I mean, I understand that the invasion had to happen because there were certain plot elements that was gonna end up, coming into full circle when later down the line and everything with this with Naruto having to basically go with Jiraiya to go and find Tsunade and everything and lots of other things
That's
freaking
the
him out.
next arc. That's the next arc. And you know what's funny about this is that really ranks at the end of all this mean jack and shit in Jack
Yeah,
Left Town.
pretty much.
It's like all that back in part one where actually the ranks actually fucking mattered, and then it's like, okay, you guys just completely shit on this.
Because I mean, like by the end, and this just
Sorry,
this little bit, this little bit is really like
it annoys me.
nah. I mean, what I'm about to say is basically sort of ties into Shippuden, but it's like it's kind of retarded because like by the end of the show, Naruto is basically way stronger than the Sannin. So why would you guys even keep him as a Chunin? Well, I don't even think he was a Chunin.
He's a
He
guinea.
was a
He's still a guinea.
yeah,
Him
yeah.
and Sasuke.
He was a guinea. So that didn't make any sense. I'm like, it should be by their power level. I don't think it should be by like certain tests. I mean, at some point you got to throw the test out the window.
He's the equivalent of God.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your arms are just too short to box of God, and Naruto was the equivalent of God at the end since he's healing motherfuckers' eyes. Later. That's later. God, later, later. Okay. After the tuning exam. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite things about tuning exams. Not just the Neji versus Naruto fight. I even like the Sasuke versus Garra arc because we actually saw his Sharingan actually grow and what
Nah,
that Sharingan.
the first time you get to see the Chidori and everything,
Yeah.
like
when
like Sasuke, Kakashi training and everything.
yeah, and Sasuke getting his ass kicked by Rock Lee. Like
Yes.
he whipped his ass, and I'm like, can we?
Well,
We're
like
never
what
getting
was
a
so?
rematch.
Yeah, that is true.
We
And
never got a rematch.
you know what's so funny back then? I'm like everyone's like, "Hey, I want to fight Sasuke." And like, who is this guy? He's so strong. I'm like, and no one like everyone ignores Naruto. And Naruto's like, "Hey, I want to fight you too." And they're like, "No, I don't want to fight you." And you know how Rock Lee was when they first met. He's like, "I do not want to fight you. I want to fight the Uchiha." I'm like, okay.
Okay, this messed up. And we had Orochimaru even sealing up the Nine-Tailed Fox for a while. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
The whole fight in the forest where Sakura was like barking at Sasuke for not doing anything. I'm like, bitch, you
Yes,
not.
that was one of my favorite moments too. It's a funny thing because during some of these arcs, I ended up having to like go back and watch them at a later date because I used to always get on punishment so much for not doing my work at school. So I used to not be able to watch television. So I would either have to sneak downstairs and watch a few episodes or wait at a later date. And matter of fact, like the Sound 4 fights, like at the end, I ended up having to watch that like way later down the line.
Wow. Oh yeah, and it was even the most hypest fight I think everyone can agree on from part one was the Rock Lee versus Garra fight, which is another fight that I would have loved to actually see in Shippuden if
My
given
dang
the
it,
chance.
man, they freaking like Rock Lee
There's
came
so many
back.
rematches that I would have loved to have seen in Shippuden, which we didn't get to see.
Yeah, I think Shippuden did a few things wrong, but we'll get
Get
into
to
that
that
later.
in a minute. Okay, after the tuning exams was the
Let's get
Tsunade Arc.
Tsunade. Let's get Tsunade arc.
Oh lord.
One of my least favorite characters in the entire show.
She gambles. She's a drunk. It's like, okay, if it wasn't for her Herculean strength, why is she Hokage? Oh, right, she's related to the first. That's why. Is that it? Or damn, the third just died for no damn reason, didn't he? Not only that, but in the long run, the third's death really didn't mean shit because Orochimaru got his arms back.
Yeah, like that. Like that's my
That was so
thing.
stupid.
Like certain things that were supposed to be like real major to certain characters. Some of the things in Shippuden just like negated all of that.
Yes, thank
It's like
you. Yes.
let's undo all the foundations of everything that part one tried to establish.
Including giving him his arms back. I'm like, what the fuck?
And let's not forget that whole thing, because I ended up forgetting to mention this earlier. But the whole thing with Neji saying, you know what I'm about to say, because we've discussed this many times about
Yeah,
Neji saying something about like Naruto and Destiny and all that crap. I can't even remember
people.
the actual speech.
I remember some of it. People like you can never be Okage. You were always born a loser, some shit like that. And it's like now it's like, oh my god. In
He's the
hindsight,
he's the freaking prophecy child apparently in part two. Like stuff like that. Like that's what I hate. That is what I did not want to be. Like someone told me, and I know I've told you this before. Someone told me, I think it was like back in part one of Naruto, that Naruto's father was the fourth Hokage. I did not want to believe him at all. The reason why is because I hate that crap. Like, oh, he's destined. He is destined to be a freaking Hokage. Now it just has to run in. to his genes. Like he's destined by some force, basically, and that's basically some of the issues that I basically had with Shippuden was all this prophecy sort of type of crap. The stuff that they had in the end with Naruto and Sasuke and Indra and Ashura and
I
all that other
highly,
crap.
dude. I still to this day, I still say like Kishimoto did not have all that fucking forethought in him back from part
Yeah,
one
I don't
all
think
the way
they
from
did. Like
here.
I think Shippuden, he was just pulling stuff straight out his butthole, man. Like he was. I really don't know what the heck this dude was thinking. Like part one was like perfect. Like part one,
But almost perfect.
perfect.
Even the fillers we could stand in part one.
Because
But
part
then let's get,
one, like part one wasn't really trying to emulate anything. Like it wasn't trying to emulate Dragon Ball Z at all.
it wasn't trying to go hard and be in flex nuts like DBZ. Not not until like Shippuden came into the picture.
Especially when you watching the anime and everything. But let's like you said, let's just keep
Save that for
focused.
Shippuden.
So yeah,
As for the Tsunade arc, I got no memorable moments besides Tsunade like that.
Sasuke, because during that time, Sasuke, I believe Itachi and
Sasuke
Kazu.
fought Itachi or
Yeah,
got him.
that was one of my favorite moments. I forgot what he used to say. He said something like, I'm trying to think.
You don't have
He,
enough hatred.
yeah,
You don't have enough
it's like
hatred.
you
Come
don't
after.
have enough hatred, little brother. You're a waste of my time. And then Sasuke does that whole thing, like he grabs his shirt and then he does the Chidori.
Grabs his arm, then snaps it, and then just backhands him into a wall. It's like Sasuke got owned for like most of part one when you really look back at it.
Yep.
Sad, really.
But yeah, that was one of my favorite moments. I think it was so weird is because like I think throughout like I want to say like the last few years I've been looking back at part one, looking at a few of the old episodes, and I looked at that episode again. I'm like, that's memorable to me. Like some of the stuff in Shippuden, I'm not gonna remember.
Oh yeah, and Naruto mastering the Rasengan in this arc. I almost forgot.
Yeah, I was about to mention that.
Oops.
That was another thing, and I'll give part two credit because it had a moment like that, but then at a certain point he just started getting moves out of nowhere. Like you just like where's the training? Okay, well, okay. So
Including the movie Rasengan, like a rainbow
like there
Rasengan.
was so many Rasengans. I don't know. Like he started just pulling like Kichi just started making up Rasengans at the end. Like a Rasengan mixed with this, a Rasengan mixed with that. Like okay, all right, if you say so, it's
And in
possible.
fact, and here's the thing: back in part one, it made sense they needed a clone to make the Rasengan, but in part two, I expected that shit for him to be like, okay, I don't need. He could just like instantly do it, just gather the chakra from his hand, not need a clone to make it. You
Well,
know?
if you remember, like the move wasn't actually perfected. Like even the fourth Kage didn't perfect the move. It was Naruto that was perfecting the move,
Oh, right,
and
but
it was because I think it had something to do with like his chakra or like something like he couldn't rotate it with one hand or something. I can't remember correctly, but I'm pretty sure if we think about it hard enough, it will make sense.
okay, and then there was a filler leading up to the Sasuke Retrieval Arc, which actually made him snap and be like, and actually
Yes,
kick
and
off the
and that
fight.
was like, I'm trying to think. It didn't have something to do with like some dude with like a lightning sword or something.
Yeah, they had to have a mission with getting a dude to the end of a race or some shit. Then they have to actually fight like the I don't forget which Hokage it was specifically, but they made a lightning sword or some shit. Then this dude just suddenly has it, and they fight him, and
Like
then
that was one of my favorite. That was has to be like one of my favorite fillers out of like all of part one, basically.
he like mocks Sasuke and the Uchiha, and Sasuke's like, "Don't ever mock the Uchiha," and it's like he like Like it's like an angry Chidori, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, and he gets old. I'm like, damn. Then Naruto cracks him with a Rasengan. He destroys the sword, and it's like, damn, that should have been Sasuke's moment right there. Like, seriously, he made
Not
it.
like Naruto just always showing him up. Like that was the thing. It's either Sasuke shows Naruto up, or then Naruto gets stronger, and then uh Sasuke gets mad. Sasuke gets jealous. Pretty much is pretty much Kishimoto pretty much had the same dynamic that I'm trying to think of the dude's name. Well, the guy that created Dragon Ball Z basically did the same thing with Goku and Vegeta, pretty much.
Yeah, but Vegeta only tried to kill us once, tried to kill Earth once, and it never happened again. He's like dealt with it, like, okay, fine, he's better than me. Fuck it. Vegeta just
Yeah,
like,
by the end, he's like, okay, screw it.
which I liked. He actually did admit it. It finally took him all that time, and then it's like, okay.
Well,
Awesome.
same thing. Well, same thing with Sasuke at the end, kinda, pretty much.
And then we get to the Sasuke Retrieval Arc, which is another best
Which is pretty much it's
arc.
gotta be. I don't know anyone who really didn't like that. Like that was like the best part of the show.
I haven't met a person yet who rags on the Sasuke Retrieval Arc, because that's when the show
But
really started.
like the only thing people really get mad about is like concerning the games, concerning like Ninja Storm and all that. They'll say that like the Sound 4 or Sound 5 are just filler characters. They're just fodder ninja that like just nothing about them.
How
That's like really.
dare you!
But like I said, this is like one of my favorite arcs. Uh, a few of those episodes, they sort of, I don't want to say they dragged on, but a few of them was just like okay, because there's so many. Like there's like at one point each of the each character basically gets split up to fight one of the Sound 4, Sound 5, if you want to call.
Now,
Well,
before we
yeah,
get to
Sound
that,
4, Sound 5.
let's go back to where this started after that whole race arc, filler
Yeah,
arc,
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Naruto and Sasuke are in the hospital. Or
They
was it
walk
just, or was it just Naruto?
No, Sasuke got beat. He got his ass kicked again, and then remember he got knocked out, and then he ended up in the hospital again.
Then he wanted to fight Naruto, and then they both were about to straight up kill each other with that Rasengan and the
Or kill
Chidori.
Sakura because her dumbass got and ran into the way.
She's like, no, stop it.
I can only imagine what would happen if Kakashi did show up and
That
attacked
shit would have
her.
been hilarious.
I'm wrong, but God, that would have been like, oh my God. That would have probably warped them though.
Like
But
Sasuke, Kakashi didn't show up, and then she'll be stabbed in the heart by Chidori. And then the
I could,
Rasengan, like she'll be stabbed in the heart by the Rasengan. I mean, by the Chidori, and then the Rasengan would like make her fly like 5 or 10 feet.
okay, and then after that, which really I think was really kicked it in the high gear for Sasuke was the his Chidori makes a dent in like an air filter.
Yeah, I
Well, the
remember watching that
Rasengan.
a few months ago. I was watching that again. Like he looks at the Chidori, the like it made a dent in the little water thing, and
He's like,
then
yeah, I did it. And
he's
then
like,
he fast.
yeah, right.
Like, what the fuck? That's a
But the
big fucking
Naruto story has like the whole thing, all like water's coming out of it and everything, like a big hole in the water tower thing.
That's what really did it. That's where he's like, okay.
He's like, oh my god, he's always getting stronger than me.
Well, he does have
He's a
a
chosen one. He's a
he
chosen
has the
one. He's
Jinchuriki in
a
him.
chosen one.
You already lose by default. You know what? If Kishimoto really wanted to, he could have been like, okay, let Naruto and Kurama get along right now. Can you imagine how much ass Naruto would kick if they actually understood each other back then? I'm not talking about like Biju mode or anything. I'm talking about like a certain understanding, just enough for Naruto to get like a two tail and he still was in control of some shit.
That is something I kind of missed, the auras and everything that he used
Oh
to
yeah,
have.
later. Until we get to that fight, I
Okay,
forget.
so
Sas-
like at that point, the Sound
Sasuke
4,
fights
Sound
them.
5. Nah,
Sasuke fights them. Remember?
wait, hold on.
No,
Oh
wait.
yeah,
Remember?
that's right. Yeah, yeah, he
Sasuke
did.
fights him and then gets his ass kicked again, and it's like, oh my god.
Why
He
is
can't,
everyone stronger than me except for Sakura?
and he like trying to activate his the curse mark, and he's like, I think Sadomaru. I think
Sak
Sakon.
Sakon, Sakon and Yukon.
And he's like, you didn't think you were Orochimaru's only pet, and he's like, oh my god. And that's what pretty much it pretty much says it. Like they're stronger than him. They have a better understanding of the curse mark, and he's like, okay. Leaf falls in hand. He crushes it. He's like, that's it. I'm
I
out.
must get stronger. Like I
I'm
must get
gone.
stronger. I'm gone. And then that whole moment with Sakura, which I still love that moment also. He just knocks her out. She's left lying there all night.
They
Just
see the comment.
just indiscreet and everything.
No, he put her on the bench. Remember?
Oh yeah.
He has more
That would have been
comedy.
hilarious though. We would have knocked her out. Just left her indiscreet.
That would have been hilarious. He like this dude would left her in the damn street. Oh Lord. Then I think
Then
it
she's like,
was
then she's like, Naruto, come get me. I mean, Naruto, come get it. Come get Sasuke back.
and then that's what
I'll
pretty
get
much
Sasuke
that's
back. And then
that's
Naruto's like, okay, for you, Sakura, I'll do it.
that stupid promise is what pretty much sets it. And Sasuke takes a pill to activate the second state. He's in that little what is that? The that
That
coffin,
little jar thing.
that little
Why they
coffin
call
thing.
it a jar? I don't know.
I call it a
Coffin.
coffin because that's what it is. It is like knocks him out, and he's like, I just can't believe this dude is just out of it for like it's been what 10 episodes already.
Yup.
Damn, that must have been a good ass pill.
Like like I was about to say earlier, the only thing I hated about this was that like a few episodes, like maybe 2 or 3 episodes, you had the whole team split up. Shikamaru, Kiba, Naruto, and Choji, Neji also. I don't know why I was about to forget him. Yeah, they're all split up at one point, and like it just at one point it's just like, come on, get the fight over with at one point. But I guess I feel that way now because I was trying to watch it a few months ago, and I was like, okay, when is it gonna get to the Sasuke Naruto fight? This joint really dragged on, and the like I was telling you earlier, I always used to get on punishment so much, so I actually missed certain parts of this arc. To this
Jesus.
day, to this day, I don't think I've actually watched it all in succession, like completely getting the full story. But
Now,
I know much about it.
I will say that it kind of dragged on. Looking back on it, like some of the battles that she dragged on a little bit too much, including the Kimimaro versus Naruto fight, where it's like, okay, dude, you're not hitting him at all. Enough. Dude, just let it die. As many clones as you make, they're keep getting stabbed. Unless you have something new to the table, stop making clones. This is dragging on for no damn reason.
Yeah,
And then it's like Sasuke finally wakes up and he's like, I'm gone. Let me just have my little laugh on. And then leaves.
and
And then
like it takes Garra and his team to come in there, and then
now
also
Broccoli gets his lick on first, and then Garra comes in when like we had drunk lead for a minute for an episode, remember?
yeah.
Oh,
Well, it wasn't drunk Lee. He remember he drunk some medicine in the
that was
Cartoon
sake.
Network version. No,
That
no,
was
no, no. In the Cartoon Network version, it was medicine. It wasn't sake. It was medicine.
it was sake.
It was medicine.
It was sake.
It was medicine.
Don't start. But seriously,
You
that
can't
was that
get
was
drunk on
hilarious.
you can't get drunk on Cartoon Network.
That's bullshit. Because he was Sasuke. It was a censored version says medicine, but the real version says it was he drunk. He was Jackie Chan for a minute, which I would have loved to see a cameo of Shippuden. Too bad we never got to see that ever again. It was like, okay, one time thing, fine. Can you imagine how much damage Lee would have done if he actually got
Actually,
drunk
I
again?
think if I'm remembering correctly, there was like a filler episode with him and Guy, and it had something to do with like him drinking or something. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it did mention that. It did have something like that in there, but it was filler.
Okay, Konkoro helped Kiba with his fight. Tamari helped out with Shikamaru's fight, and Garra
Oh
helped
wow,
Lee out.
yeah, of course he did.
Yeah, it's like okay, yeah,
They're really gonna set that up.
that's really the only reference to the part one that I can remember where it's like, okay, these two are automatically going to have something going on later on down the line. Obviously, only thing that's referenced. And then we get to the final fight of Naruto, and then everything else is filler.
Yep, which is also the best fight, Naruto versus Sasuke.
And it'll always be, even in Shippuden and in part one, it's like, okay, these two obviously are going to
Like,
be the
thing is,
defining.
watching that thing animated, it's like they freaking must have poured their entire budget into that fight. Like,
I can't wait to.
I remember just going on YouTube and just like watching AMVs of people just like putting in clips of Naruto and Sasuke fighting and everything. I used to just come home from school and just watch AMVs.
It's like, yeah, yeah, they're good times, good freaking times. And then I can just imagine if Naruto went one did like two tails. But then again, here's part one of the fight. Here's one part in the fight where I still say Naruto would have died if he did not have the fox in him. It's when Sasuke does that Falcon drop from above, and then like drops him on his head.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, you should be dead. I don't give a shit what's inside you. You should be dead. But logic, but we're going on anime logic.
Right.
Like Looney Tunes can actually just like drop anvils on each other's heads. You apparently can survive a 150-foot drop on top of your freaking skull. Okay. I can only imagine. He died. He should have died. His head shook and everything. His whole body was shaking. I'm like, oh my god, Sasuke, you dick, you dick. And that's when wait, it was early in the fight where Sasuke's Sharingan actually like fully started to activate. That's when Naruto's ass was actually really starting to get kicked.
And
And
if you
then
remember correctly in that fight, because he was yelling at him. I think at the like maybe the beginning of the fight they were talking. You know how this show does. They were talking. Sasuke was basically saying how Naruto basically couldn't relate to him, and I think that's like a sort of an issue that I had like especially looking in Naruto Shippuden later on. I'm like, okay, the dude can't relate to you. Okay, yeah, he's never had any parents and your
oh
parents are
yeah,
dead.
you never had
You just said it like you just said it yourself. I mean, you're both lonely, and even you know I know that Sasuke eventually admits at the end that he's always wanted to talk to Naruto and everything, and he's always envied him and stuff like that. He says that by the end of Naruto, but it's kind of like back then, maybe back then Sasuke was just too focused on trying to
kill
one up
Itachi.
his brother. Yeah, kill Itachi pretty much. So that he's like, okay, I'm blind to all that, and you know what? He admits that at the end that yeah, he probably should have just stayed with Naruto and Sakura because I mean they were pretty much like family to him.
And I tried to kill him several times, buddy. Especially the one who's been chasing after you for two freaking parts. God. After the fight, it's pretty much been established that
Well,
there's part two in
well,
the work.
you're forgetting one fact. Setsu was
Uh,
there. Setsu was
oh
there.
yeah,
I'm like, really? This guy was here? Yes, he was. He was here.
yeah.
He
It's
was
like
here. You see
okay.
him?
I'm like, who the hell is this guy? That's Zetsu. Ah, right. It's like
Yes,
okay.
Setsu was there.
I'm like, there's more to the Akatsuki then, so we're definitely gonna get a part two in this. I think the last
Well,
episode
yeah, I think the like technically the last episode
was Naruto
was
leaving.
Naruto leaving with Jiraiya, right?
Yeah,
And Jiraiya tells him something. He didn't he say like he was a fool to like chase after Sasuke or something like that.
still are. Yes, then he's like, oh, fine, I'll train myself. And then Jiraiya's like, what are you, insane? I guess I
Yeah, he
am.
had to train him because the Akatsuki were basically gonna be coming after him, and so he wanted to train him for the Akatsuki because the Akatsuki gonna come after him, and then of course he wanted to save Sasuke.
Yeah, so
But before all of that happened, there was filler and lots of filler.
filler,
So much
filler,
filler that was so much filler that I think
I
that
gave up.
so much filler that I think that might have been one of the reasons that Tsunami ended up bombing at that point when we got to that point. That
They had
probably
a whole day dedicated to Naruto, and it just like we didn't even get to the end. I still say we didn't even get to the
we didn't
end
we didn't
episode.
we didn't get to the ending episode. I had to actually look that crap up online, but I think everybody had to, or they either just like skip to Shippuden
I think there's
and like
150 episodes. I think.
yeah, there was a lot of filler. I'm like, okay, good grief. So what was Kishimoto doing during this time? Like just planning for Shippuden? Okay.
Who the fuck are you? Get away from me! You're distracting me from my money. You're
Well,
distracting me from my money and my shipping and writing. I guess.
oh
I
man.
guess he was. I guess he was counting his money because he was like, "Oh God, now I have to finish this." And then part two happened.
So the funny thing about part two is
Oh Lord.
funny thing about part two, I believe I first heard about it in middle school. And for some reason I was so salty or I don't know, I just didn't want to get into that. So I skipped out on Shippuden until I want to say I heard about it probably in the eighth grade because I remember I was still in middle school. So I want to say I started watching Shippuden when I was in the 10th or 11th grade. Well, yeah, I was in the 10th grade. That's when I started watching it. So I want to say what 8th, ninth, 10th, maybe like 3 years after Shippuden actually started.
I think I yeah. I think around the time it was announced, and then the first episode came out, like I had to actually find the sub version of it. That's when I started watching it, and then when was it when Disney XD we heard that Disney XD had the rights to it or some shit?
That was after Naruto. I think that was like, of course, that was after Naruto.
The pain
Naruto
arc.
got off of Tsunami. I know it was way after the Tsunami went down the first time. Well, went down on Cartoon Network. I think the first time I heard about it being on Disney XD was actually I was surfing the Viz forums and everything because I didn't know nothing about it. So then I started watching it up there, and it was just horrible.
It was
I'm
dumbed
like,
down more than usual.
what did they do? What did they do so horrible on that show? They did a lot of weird stuff. Like they just didn't know how to handle it. And then they
Did a lot
screwed up
of
they screwed up my favorite one of my favorite theme songs.
oh yeah, closer.
Yes, they screwed that up. I was like, what the heck is this? Like what the heck is this?
Before we get to that, we actually have to go like do like an overview of what of how it started. Okay, Naruto came back and shit. It's like, okay, I see you still haven't found any pants that actually go all the way down your damn legs. I see. When I first saw his model, I'm like, are you seriously telling me you this man still don't know how to put on actual pants to go around his fucking ankles? It
The
still
weird
irks me.
thing, like the weird thing about his character design is like I just would prefer him without the sweatsuit on, because like the stuff he has underneath actually looks cooler.
Or just the jacket unzipped. I mean, seriously. I would have preferred that like a long time ago. Or just ditch the orange entirely. Like, seriously. And then we see how much Konohamaru's group has grown, and then we see how Sakura grew. She's still a tsundere. She's still beating on Naruto and shit. Yeah, that's still a thing. And Kakashi's still a pervert. Jiraiya's still alive. Thank God.
At this point,
Yes, God. Yes, he's another. Well, okay. I won't say it wasn't entirely unnecessary because then again, the Sage mode really did help in the end, in the grand scheme of things. So
I think like one of the most and this might
we're in
not
part
connect
two now.
to.
We're in part two now, so we can like go off.
No, I'm just saying. I was just about to say like this might not connect to like exactly what you were just saying, but one of the most annoying and quite frankly one of the most useless characters in the entire Shippuden would have to be Shino. I don't even know why he's in the show at all. Why is he there?
How
What
dare
is he,
you?
what has he done? He's
Besides
done
that laughing
nothing.
at, I remember.
No, he was left out of the Sasuke retrieval. What has he done? He's done nothing. He did nothing in any of the arcs at all.
Yes, he did. He fought Konkoro.
Did he win?
Yes.
I don't even remember.
Did he win?
Who was this? I don't remember.
Hold on. Let me get myself
Like,
together.
like, 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 do you like? You know what's so funny is like by the end
Oh
of
God.
by the end of the Naruto manga chapter, and I'm reading the last chapter, and they show Shino. I was like, who the heck is this dude? He got a visor on and everything.
Yeah, I was like, who
That's
the
like,
hell is this
oh,
clown?
Shino. I'm like,
Does
yo,
she know?
that's how you don't know. Like, that's how you know this character is just useless. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't forget who you are. Like,
Uh,
Konohamaru is more recognizable than this guy.
well,
Who's
no
supposed to be,
shit.
who's supposed to be like a main character, like supporting cast or something.
Did he win?
I'm like, did he win?
Yes, it was there back in the Chunin exams where Sasuke was going after Garra, and then Tamari stops him. Sasuke beats her, and then Kankuro tries to stop him, and then Shino holds up Kankuro, and then we assumingly think. I think we didn't even get a fight to that. Actually,
Okay then. Like, I don't-
I think we did. I think we did. I'm I'm misinterpreting this. We did, but it was short. Kankuro pretty much got his ass beat, and they both got knocked the hell out. So
okay, okay, I'll give him that. But besides that, he did nothing. I
yeah,
mean,
but
even
besides,
even Ino did something. I mean, even Ino did something. Sakura did more than him. I mean, honestly, he's a waste of a character. I don't know why Kishimoto even wrote him up there. Besides the fact that all he does is complain about people not noticing him. Like Naruto doesn't notice him. The
blame
first
it.
part of the show, he's like, "Who's that?" He's like, "You really don't remember me, Naruto. You should really remember your friends." I'm like, this is how much like you're just not needed."
Blame your creator, dude.
Like that was just he's just unnecessary. But anyway, first part of the show, uh, then Naruto, and Sakura they had to do like a training mission or something with Kakashi. That was like the first part of like the first episode, I think, or second episode.
that was like the fourth episode. They actually had the pretty much the first episode established what Naruto is. The second episode was Konohamaru. The third episode was was the team episode where they bullshit around with each other, and then the fourth episode, that's where the survival training happened, and then
Yeah,
that
and that's
just branched
basically
off
what it
each
was, just
episode.
showing off their different moves and everything,
And then
showing
part
off
two,
all
they
their
pretty
new
much
moves.
rehashed. In part two, they pretty much rehashed that, but
No
Seth
Sasuke.
was yeah, it's just without Sasuke. And what's even funny about that? Kakashi even pulls that okey doke shit where it's like Sasuke's in trouble again, and he actually thinks that was gonna work this time. He used that same genjutsu. He's like, I am back, and I'm hurt. It's like, bitch, you should have aged at least once. At least you did, Kakashi, for this to even work. Actually, the start of Shippuden was a silhouette. Wasn't Naruto
Oh
running
yeah, that's right. He was
running
running. He was running, trying to
in
get
Orochimaru's lair?
Sasuke. And like one of the things about that cinematic, because why did I say cinematic? Well, well, actually, when you think about it, that scene was very cinematic. Because and unless it was just I'm trying to think if it was just because I was watching it on television or when I was watching it on the computer, but correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it like black bars on the top and like the middle of the screen, and you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I do.
I could have sworn that it's like that. Like the first part of the show, the first few scenes, he's running down the hallway trying to find Sasuke, and I like the fact that the show actually starts off like that.
Him, Sakura, and Yamato, who hasn't been introduced yet, and then
Yeah, and
it
then it's like,
happens.
okay, who's this guy?
It happens, and we see a silhouette of Sasuke, but we don't get to actually see what he looks like until later down the line. And the
And I remember so many people like when they actually
I
showed Sasuke, there's like this dude dressing just like Orochimaru, like this dude dressing like just looks so gay wearing that kimono.
yeah, that's where the gay started to happen. That's where the Sasuke happened.
Yeah, I remember I remember my ninth grade. What was it? My ninth grade English teacher wore that one time. I was like, gay.
What?
Thank you,
What?
Sasuke. Yes. Matter of fact, you don't remember dude that used to look like Tony Hawk?
Oh, are you sick? Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah, that dude.
that dude! Oh,
He wore a kimono one time. I'm like, okay, this nigga gay.
and yes, we went to the same school together,
Yeah,
so
which is why we
we know each other.
so good. Yeah.
But seriously, but back to this. Back to this. Shit. Uh, back to the fight. That happens, and then
Oh yeah, are we forgetting that Garra got taken?
no, I'm getting to that. I'm building up to that.
Okay, okay, I got you.
I'm building up to that.
Trying to make sure we don't forget anything here.
I'm not forgetting that shit. We
And
actually
actually,
see
I'm about
like
to. Okay, go ahead.
Datara, the blonde haired freak. I'm like, who's this blonde haired freak? So I referred to him the first time I saw him, like, who's this blonde haired freak? Who's that dude in the machine in the suit? Or what's
And so
that thing?
like
What's
it's
that?
so funny because I actually like him, and I'm still pissed about how he's used in video games now. So yeah,
Amen. With that being said, uh, how Naruto and Sakura beat Kakashi is so gay because how it's portrayed in Storm 2, they could literally like take his ass like down if they really wanted to.
yeah,
Because Storm
that is something
2,
that I really like about what CC2 did with those games. Just to point that out there,
yes,
they really did like make some of these fights just bigger than they were in the anime
Storm
and
2
really
really
better.
did that.
But yeah, going back to this because I already know if we start talking about that, we're gonna
We're gonna be here all night.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, Naruto pretty much like spoils the ending of the new Ichi Paradise book that he gave to Kakashi when Jiraiya was writing it, when he was training with him. I'm like, that. Are you serious? That kind of got the
Oh yeah, I remember
yay,
that. I was like, really?
lame. I'm like lame, and then we switch back over to Garra getting caught or battling with Datara, and it's like, God, man, how are you losing now? I'm like, no, I'm dead serious. Like, how the fuck are you losing now? Where's the badass that I was afraid of when I first saw you? Like, where's he at?
The thing is
Garra
that God,
legitimately scared
like Gaara in part two, I hate Gaara so much because he's like Sasuke. He's like Naruto. Oh my god, I love Naruto. I gotta oh my gosh, he has such a freaking oh my
hard on.
gosh, like yes for Naruto, it's like you're not the scary guy no more.
Like Gar legit scared me when he was first introduced, like killing
He
people left and
scared
right.
everyone.
It's like, damn, son, he like crushed him with the sand and shit.
Like that was
Oh
fun.
god,
That was fun. Like you like remember his little remember the flashback when he was like a little kid and he's holding that teddy bear?
yeah.
Like I always just wanted them like I always just wanted CC2 to like put Kid Gata in the game and like make
Oh,
him the most OP character in the world.
oh yeah,
I don't know why.
most definitely. He used to like spew
It's like
incantations.
he can't control his sand, so like at
And
that point.
not only that, but Gar uses like to speak in incantations and shit. He used to like threaten like Tamari and Kagura. I'm like, what happened to that badass that I was afraid of back then? You now just
Naruto
stuck.
showed me the way. Like he used to talk. It's like he used to talk different too. It's like
That's where it
Naruto.
started.
It's like Naruto showed me the way. Like I can't do his voice at all, but it's like it's just so retarded.
Naruto showed me the way. I can't do Gar. But seriously, that's where we should have picked up. But like that's where it started. Like he showed me like that's kind of like a stepping stone to what's coming left in Shippuden anyway. That's where we should have caught on. Like, okay, you done ruined Gar for us. He's not the badass we used to fear. And back to the story. Okay, Gara gets captured, which pretty much sets off the Gara Retrieval Arc. I was about to say Sasuke, damn. Which has Guy's team, Kakashi's team, and
Notice we never have Shino's team.
fuck them. That's why.
like, like seriously, the only character from that team that is of any importance is Hinata, just because she's gonna end up with Naruto at the end.
Kiba, you irrelevant because you still spewing. You were gonna be Okage, bitch. Please.
Like even at the end, doesn't he say something about being the seventh Hokage or something? Like, well, actually, Naruto's the seventh Hokage, but I'm like, doesn't he say something about being Hokage? He says something about the
Yeah, and
Hokage at the end. I'm
I'm,
like, oh my god, Kiba, just give it up.
I'm like, bitch, please. Still to this day, I'm like, you still saying that? Again, seriously, I know he pretty much whooped your ass in part one, but you still, even now, when he can like pretty much summon a god at this point and become a god, you still want that title? It looks boring as hell. Still, later. Okay, and an old lady who pretty much like mistakes Kakashi for his father, which we will actually know more down the
Yeah, White
line.
Fang.
It's like, yeah, Takashi's stuff was actually like some of the best things about Shippuden until
Yeah,
like it dragged
like
on
his
too.
whole backstory is more interesting than half of the crap up there. It's kind
Oh,
of
most
sad.
definitely. Until he got to Yamato, which no,
I'm
Yamato
still
wasn't even.
confused. I'm still confused about him. Like, what was he? Wasn't he like a clone or something?
He was Orochimaru's experiment. That had the first.
Like the the Senju cells, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
that's explained in Kakashi's filler, which I like saw
I
some
didn't
of it. But like,
like that was the thing about the filler, because that little kid that had like the wood, Like was using the wood. I thought that was your motto at first.
I think it was.
I was like, who was that? Because now he called him like, didn't he call him Tenso or something like that? I'm like,
Hmm.
that can't be him, and that can't be his father, because then he would only be like 2 years old, so that can't be that can't be right.
Okay. Okay, back to the retrieval, and then we pretty much got like clones of Itachi and not even clones, like little almost
They're at the same level of they're at the same level of both of them. I mean, God dang, how do I explain this? So they're clones that are at the same power level as each of the individual shinobi, basically at that point.
Notice how that shit's never used again.
Yeah, like in the first part of Shippuden, they started doing some real creative stuff that that
Then
you know
no,
that they really explained. But then in the
they
second, like
thoroughly explain shit, and then it's like, okay, let's just
in the other half, like in the other half of the show, they don't explain jack squat. They're like, "Oh my God, this thing happened right here," and then they'll give you some weird explanation. If they do it, like if Kishimoto does explain it, it's something that you're still scratching your head about by the end of it.
yeah, and it's like pretty much like it's like a rematch of Guy and Kisame, which is pretty much like, okay, that was pretty good, and then
Yeah, I
uh
love that throughout Shippuden. It's like Kazume's like, "You remember me?" and Guy's like, "I know I recognize you from somewhere."
you know what's funny? That actually plays on until in Obito's like flashback, which we're in currently in the anime right now. He even does that shit to Obito. It's like, fight you again, and I'm like, what? How? How? That's not even right. You guys are in the same fucking class. How? Your memory can't be that fucking bad. That's just horrible. Oh yeah, the what was it? The genjutsu that had like half of Sasuke's face, and we had like Sakura coming out of Naruto's stomach and Kakashi on his arm and
I
shit.
actually,
Remember that?
I love that episode. That was cool.
I was like, whoa, freaky. That's some freaky shit.
I was
It's
like,
like
"Yo, the whole time he's under Genjutsu."
that's when
Like,
genjutsus were actually cool.
it seemed like the first part of Shippuden was on point for the most part. There was still a part about the Garra Retrieval Arc that I was like, like, okay, how did that happen? How does this still work? But we'll get to that.
Even the I miss Itachi like summoning the bunch of clones and you being nailed on the cross and shit, and he has a bunch of katanas and shit. I'm like, what the hell?
Niggas stabbing you like 10, 20 times on that joint.
Yeah, I remember that. I'm like, oh my god. Back when genjutsus were cool, man. So we eventually didn't find Gara, and he's taken away by Data again, and it's like, okay. Then it's like Naruto and Kakashi go on. It's like, you're not gonna take Gara. I'm like, dude, just summon a clone. And just summon a bunch of clones. Here's what you do: summon a bunch of clones, make them grab you, and chuck your ass up there. It cannot be that hard. I've seen you do it. You've done it in the game. It can't be that hard. Just come
What?
on. I don't know. I just like I was expecting
You've
him to
done
like.
it in the game, now do it again.
I'm like expecting him to summon like a tower of clones, and I'm just throwing his ass up there, and then just like doing a rusted god or something. I was expecting that for the longest time, and then I'm like, oh, okay, these two are just gonna drag on. Takashi's like trying to catch him because he like used the Kamui. Didn't he use the Kamui once during one of the
Yeah,
fights back
yeah,
there?
he did that. I think he tried to transport one of the Daria's explosions, and like at one point he ended up doing it so much that he had to be in like the hospital bed, and then that's where Yamato came in
Not
for the
yet, not yet,
second mission.
not yet. That's why he couldn't catch up to Naruto. While Naruto was just like doing his own thing. And this is where Sakura's only defining moment in the anime, in the anime, the games, the in the manga itself, and heavens above, she would never get another opportunity like this ever fucking again. It's true. My God, it's true. She battles Sasori even with the help of Chio. This is pretty much Sakura's defining moment.
That was one of that has to be her best fight.
It's her only good fight.
Because it's like the beginning of the show.
Even
It's
God
like,
himself was like, Sakura's actually doing something right. Something must be wrong. Kishi, what are you doing? Okay, I should.
like,
I
I guess
don't.
I guess they had to show that throughout all those years of training, something did happen. She was a lot stronger. They had to at least prove that.
And then to just take it all away, just like that. Christ, it's like we started off so good. What happened? What happened to that girl who was fighting Sasori? Wait, where's that at? Who are you? Who are you?
I mean, there was some. You know what? As much as okay, look, as much as people love to hate on her, and as much as I love to hate on her too,
We love
there
that.
there were some moments where I'm like, okay, Sakura, okay, you about to do something, but then there's like moments like during that same moment you're about to start rooting for her. She does or she says something so dumb that you're like, okay.
It makes you irate, and it's like, oh my God, I want to punch you. I want to
And I
just
will talk about one of those moments. I will talk about one of those moments later.
I want to deck you in the schnoz so freaking hard. And then Sakura gets poisoned at one point, and then Chio pretty much like sacrificed herself for Sakura, and then they beat Sasori by Chio summoning like Sasori's parents of his puppets, and then that's how it beats him. It yeah. Still her best fight, and then we get Garra back, except he's about to die. Oh wait, no, wait. She has an antidote for Sakura. She doesn't give her life for Sakura. She gives her life up for Garra. That's how she dies, and then that pretty much
Yeah.
like ends the arc. And it's like, okay,
And at this point, okay, hold up. So at this point,
hey,
during that same moment, Naruto gives his chakra to Chio so that she can do the jutsu to bring Gaara back. And then at that moment, Gaara's like in the white space of his mind, and there's like I think there's like a bunch of silhouettes of people, and then there's like Naruto's there. I'm like, oh my god, he's the first thing you think about during this flashback. Well, not flashback, but sort of this weird moment. And like, doesn't Naruto like hold out his hand or something to him, and then they shake hands or something? I could be remembering wrong, but
what are you doing on Saiyan Island, man?
no, I'm looking for something.
It's
I
on
was
the
I was looking no, I was looking for that history thing that they did. I was trying to bring this up earlier.
okay.
I think this is kind of screwing with the connection.
And then it pretty much like sets up for the next arc, which is pretty much like Sai's slash Sasuke arc. I'm calling it that for a reason. It's because what it is. Because Sai's arc actually plays into like Sasuke returning to the screen, and I'm like, okay. So this is pretty much like Sasuke's replacement, and which also brings up Yamato. I didn't like Sai the first moment he came on screen because it's like,
Yeah, me either. I thought this nigga was gay
no,
because like who freaking wears their shirt
a
like
belly
that?
shirt, like that.
I
Your
was
sword,
I
your
was like,
sword,
who wears their shirt like that all the time?
and your sword's not even a real sword. You derp. The hell? Isn't this the same
And he
arc?
still ends up with at the end.
Bullshit. That even if it is a misunderstanding, I still call bullshit. Isn't this where Donzo is first appears, or did he appear sooner? I mean earlier.
Nah, this is the first time. And
Okay.
Donzo was a cool character. He's a jerk, but he's a good character.
We'll get to him in a minute. He's still an asshole. We'll get to him later. and pretty much like him and Sai have it out. I will admit this. As much as I hate Sai, he actually got on Naruto's nerves a hell of a lot more than anyone else did. He even called him a little dick, and I'm like, he talking shit about your manhood, man. You gonna take that shit? Deck his ass already. And it had Sakura, and Sakura ends up doing it for him. I'm like, you just like messing up on all sides, man, aren't you? You're letting her do it. Why? Why? And that's like the only time that I think that's the only time where I can actually like stand Sai. Other than that, it's like okay, he has this little shtick with his brother, which
when he first came on the scene, I actually liked him a lot more because it was sort of like replacing that Sasuke dynamic. You know when
yeah,
Sasuke used to Sasuke used to annoy Naruto, that's pretty much what he was replacing.
he called Sakura forehead and tiny tits. I think.
That was probably in the Japanese version of it.
And then when he started talking shit about Sasuke, then it's when he gets decked in the face.
And let me guess, Naruto did that.
No, Sakura did that.
It's like, no, you don't talk about Sasuke. You don't know him.
He is Sasuke's replacement just because it's like, oh, you're Sasuke's replacement because the hair, the eyes, you just have a paler skin tone with him than him,
like
and just
like that nigga's he's albino. That nigga albino.
Shouldn't he be more like Shino then? If that's the case. With white hair, I'd accept him. I'd accept it then. Until then, no. Then we have a mission where it has them go to I forget where it is. It's
they had to go to Naruto thing. I'm trying to think of the name of the bridge, but they had to go to some bridge because
Senju Bridge or some shit.
Yeah, the Tenchi Bridge. I think that was the name of it.
To meet a contact, which was Kabuto, which he fucks him over anyway. So it's like, oh, this is not gonna end.
Yeah, doesn't he smash the little puppet thing that they tried to disguise himself? I think they just tried. I think it was Kakashi, or not Kakashi.
Kakashi's out of it.
Yeah, at that point, I think it was Yamato.
Yeah, Yamato tries to disguise himself to get the information. It doesn't work, which brings on the whole Orochimaru comes back. Great, the pedo's back, and then he talks shit about Sasuke. And he talks shit about Sasuke,
the thing that I just remember always from this moment is like Naruto's like, bring Sasuke back, give me Sasuke.
This is where probably this gay shit started. This is where this gay Naru and Sasu shit started. This is probably where it started, right here. And then
Orochimaru's like, my Sasuke, you're not stronger than my Sasuke. That's exactly what he said.
Yeah,
that's my Sasuke.
I'm like, oh Jesus, well, I feel uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, but like I really love the fact that like Naruto gets so angry at this point that pretty much he can't control himself. It doesn't he like end up hitting Sakura
with one of his tails when he goes like full like Naito aura.
And then Yamato has to end up telling him, you gotta stop trying to rely on that.
That's after the fight. That
was after the fight.
That's after the big ass fight, and that's where the chakra gun was introduced, and I'm like, oh shit, we're officially in DBZ territory. That's when I like clicked in my head where it's like, okay, Kishimoto is really trying to push.
Didn't he go six tails during that fight?
He goes to six tails, not full nine tails yet, because he doesn't have the skull, the exo skull yet, the skull hanging out from the aura yet. So
yeah.
Which is in the pain fight. Which looks so horrible to this day. It's like, y'all better not fuck up the last fight. That's all I gotta say. Y'all better not be this fucking lazy, because y'all getting lazy with the animation now. Don't do it. Okay, later. So after the fight, that's where Naruto pretty much has to change up his strategy and not get like also like okay,
Yeah,
uh,
angry all the time.
yeah,
Then
over.
then use the chakra cloak. Use the nine tails.
Which we still don't know the name of yet. And that's where he tries to actually he gets the training and he starts like changing up his Rasengan. That's where the no wait, the big Rasengan already happened already
Yeah, the Odama Rasengan,
in the
which I
fake
used to
Itachi
call
fight.
Obama Rasengan, which I will now call it that.
I call Obito, so it's fair. I still call him that.
Which is
And
basically double. I think the English name for it is double Rasengan or something like that. Or is it? No, it's not double Rasengan. It's giant Rasengan.
yeah, you know what? I was actually expecting them to be all like to just go full DBZ tribute to be like Big Bang Rasengan or some shit. Just call it that, right? Because that's what it is. It's a big ass Rasengan. Just call it that
I'm
already.
trying to think. What was the arc after that? What was it? Was it the one with Hidan, and
Oh yeah,
Kakazu?
with Hedon and Kekazu versus Shikamaru and Asuma while Naruto was training.
And let's just say during that training, see, that's what I wanted to see more of. That's what I freaking liked when they started when they went back to that. That's when I
Yeah,
really started. That's when I really fell in love with the freaking show during this arc. This arc was one of the best arcs.
this was your arc.
I still, I still say it. You
It's
got you got the awesome Dame and everything, and then you got Asuma dying. This is really the first time that like a major character besides, well, the third Hokage. To be frank, I never liked him anyway, so
I
I
still
never
say he was
even
a
cared
useless
for the third
death.
Hokage.
Useless death. I still say it. I'm sorry. Because
But,
I'm
he,
serious.
but
Like
like, but
Orochimaru
like
has his
even
arms back.
even at the end of the show, he sort of realizes that he was a horrible Hokage.
Yeah, he was.
And then everyone's like, nah, you weren't a bad Hokage. I'm like, yes, you were.
What did he
You
do?
were
What
annoying. Like you did nothing. You let your pupil.
huh? Oh no.
No, that was me. That was my fault.
Okay. Okay. You let your pupil die and
Hold on. Oh, okay. Had to make sure. Oh yeah, but yeah, he let his pupil die. I mean, not his pupil die, but his pupil basically attacked the village and everything. His pupil being Orochimaru.
he gave his life for nothing. The Reaper Death still didn't do shit because Orochimaru from
That's another thing. I'm like, what the heck?
that didn't do shit. He still got his arms back. I'm like,
I'm like,
how?
and then by the end of the
Was
show,
that ever explained? Was that ever explained?
by the end of the show, he's just up there something like here's the thing. All this other extra crap that happened in Shippuden. I was like, okay, how? He's summoning all the Hokages back to life somehow by some I don't even know. I
The
can't even explain
reanimation.
it. It's not even. I can't even really say that's reanimation because it's like I don't know, man. Like it was stupid. It just made no sense.
Okay, back to the arc that you like. Now it was this good arc. There was one good arc where they actually like they back. It was back in part one where they like supposedly found like Kabuto and he was talking shit about Sasuke again, and it was like he took his heart out. Remember? They actually showed that shit on Cartoon
Oh
Network.
yeah,
Remember?
like they had that
That warning.
yeah,
Like
that warning. I was like, oh snap, something about to happen tonight.
somebody gonna die.
I'm like, they really had a warning, like this straight, like, oh my god, kids are about to have nightmares.
The dude ripped his heart out. I'm like, the only thing that's not happening is blood from everywhere. That's pretty much it. Logically, okay. Back to part two and your arc. This is your arc. This is where you
Yeah, you got
establish.
Naruto training, which is what you know, this has to be. I think this has to be one of the. Okay, it was this arc, and then the one with like the sage mode and everything. Like there were like few times where Naruto was actually training throughout Shippuden. This is one of the only times.
Oh yeah, you're right. Jesus.
All
Wow.
the rest of them times, he just got power ups.
Yeah, back in part one, we actually saw him progress and train. In part two, we barely saw that shit at all until two arcs.
And then another good part about the arc, of course, is Asuma's death. Like I was saying earlier, this is like the first time, well, the second time a major character died, and really, like at this point, Asuma finally sort of left his blue, like he left his print on both Shikamaru. We got to see his, sort of his connection with his team. That's what I was saying earlier. Like Shino's team is basically useless because really, like the Shikacho team, like they're they're really important to the freaking whole plot of the show.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
hindsight, they really
compared
are.
to the other ones, compared to the other teams. But Asuma wasn't Asuma like helping Naruto out, giving him like pointers about chakra control and everything. And this is where another part of the show. This is where the show actually explained about like the chakra natures and everything.
Yeah, they both had wind. They both had wind chakra. That's right.
And that was another thing that I like. Like
Oh wait,
I like. Oh, go ahead.
no. Remember, Asuma gave Naruto those not those kunai knives. His like punch knives. Remember?
Yeah, yeah.
And he never fucking used them once. That pissed me off to no end. I'm like, okay, you had these badass
I'm like, those should have just went. Those should have just went to
knives.
Shikamaru.
I mean, for real, it's like you
Wait,
never
hold on.
use them. Naruto
Did,
never changes his
hold
style
on.
at
I
all.
could have I could have sworn I've seen Shikamaru with those before though.
Oh yeah, it was in the second fight. It was in the second fight with them. And that was the only time he ever used them. Shit.
Oh, and
And the only
let's
time.
let's you know let's not forget Hidan when he's first. Well, Hidan and Kakatsu when they're first introduced. Well, really, when I first saw that, I didn't really see the English dub. I don't even think I've actually watched the English dub for that.
Pretty tame. It's pretty tame. I like Hinom when he's actually cursing people out. It's like,
I think like I only watched a few episodes from that, but I don't think I ever seen Hidan like his English dub for that. I
well,
just I just remember the Japanese version and that laugh he used to have.
yeah, that crazy ass laugh. Wow. Point taken right there.
He was a crazy character and probably one of my favorite villains from the show.
Yeah. That's why he became one of your main characters in Storm games.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's one point right there. Come to think of it, I think. Oh yeah, that was the OVA where he. Oh, I remember that shit now. They actually like put out an OVA of Naruto and Sasuke fighting. It was like they're finally gonna fucking fight, and
Yeah,
then
they kept doing that over and over and over.
it's like that was like 4 years ago when we was like still in school, and I'm like, are they finally gonna do it? Are they finally gonna fight? That's when Naruto actually started using those chakra knives, and I'm like, oh my god, he's using them. Wait, oh wait, OVA, shit, this isn't canon. This isn't canon. Shit, not yet. It never happened because Sasuke never. He loses his sword, and I'm like, damn it! You both were too beaten up. You used anything? Shit. Later down the line, okay. And then Takashi finally comes back,
Oh
and
yeah,
he
but,
fights.
before that, yeah, the whole thing with the chakra natures and everything, and I
Did
think
Takashi do it
I
once?
think
Once?
oh yeah, that's right. They did show him use the Rasengan. I was like, dang, how many moves that guy know?
Thousand Jutsu. He wasn't lying.
Like that
I'm
man,
like, I'm a believer now.
Like, no wonder he became the sixth Hokage. He knows Rasengan. He knows all the moves.
Then start just doing them. Start showing people up. Be like, that's how you do it. That's how you do it. I was expecting him to be like that throughout Shippuden, like just doing everybody's moves and be like, that's how you supposed to do it.
Like, he does like, he can do basically any move,
Yeah,
basically.
just be a dick about it. It's like that's how you supposed
Well,
to do
that's why he's the copycat ninja.
Didn't have too much of that. Only during the Zabuza fight, I get that Kakashi versus Zabuza 2. That ain't till later either. When is it that Kakashi starts fighting Hidan and Kakazu? Like after
I don't
everybody's
think he fought them. I think it was just, if I
no
remember
no
correctly.
Kakashi gets beaten up like for the most part, and then Shikamaru comes in, and then Naruto comes
Oh
in.
yeah, that's right. That's right. He went with Shikamaru's team, didn't he?
Oh yeah. While
Yeah, he
Naruto
went.
was
Yeah, he went with Shikamaru's team, and Naruto was training.
it's another one of those moments. Like everyone's doing their thing, and then it's like, oh, he comes at the end, and it's like, oh, you
And
gotta
Naruto
show.
perfects he perfects the Rasen-Shurikan and throws it. Didn't he kill Kakazu? Yeah, he
No,
killed
no,
Kakazu. I thought he
he,
did.
he killed Kakazu. Shikamaru like kills Hidan in the most gruesome ass way. He's like, damn, he's never coming back out of that.
Which is why I don't understand how in the world Kabuto was able to bring this nigga back. I'm like, how?
His body should be damaged beyond repair, given how he died.
I'm like, that nigga would just be of like pieces of himself. Like
Like
that
bone,
don't
like
make sense. Like
broken
a
bone,
head here and a leg there.
and a worm eating his ass over there.
And that jank retarded.
And yeah, we got hand-to-hand combat with Kekazu versus Kakashi again. I'm like, yes, and they're doing it on the wall, and they're doing it on a tree. Like we get it just for one. That's what I hated about Shippuden the most. It's like we're never ever gonna get hand-to-hand combat again, are we?
It's
And
just a
it's just
bunch
like,
of freaking jutsu.
yeah, it's like even if they're
Well, at
little
least by
bit.
the end, like it wasn't that bad at this point.
Oh yeah, not yet. And then the Rasen-Shuriken ends, and then the Rasen-Shuriken arc ends. I guess that arc ends, and then wow, isn't it Sasuke who takes over? Who he supposedly kills, quote unquote, Orochimaru, and then it goes on from there.
I'm trying to think. Was that next?
I think it was.
It might have been.
No, not Taka yet. Team Heavy. Sasuke starts
Yeah, he
Team
starts
Heavy
gathering up people and everything to
starts
go
gathering up
fight. To go find.
Orochimaru.
Was he trying to find Itachi or something?
He needed Corinne to actually find his signature. I guess Jugo was just an extra power boost. So I guess he just wanted to come with him because it was just bored out of his mind. And he's like, well, there ain't shit to do here, and you already killed Orochimaru. So and I love what Sasuke did. He fought him, and then Kabuto's at the door, and he's like, Kabuto's asking him like, which one are you? And Sasuke like, who you think? He walks in, and then he walks in there, and he sees the blood, and he's like, damn. And then
And
that's when
then Kabuto wants to become Orochimaru at that point.
which is just like, oh, for fuck's sake, you just ran out of idea for him, and it's like, oh, let's just make him into like a Orochimaru, and that ain't until later too. That ain't until later. So I'm gonna assume like during like Sasuke versus Orochimaru Part 2, Part 1 was the best fight. Was their best fight. Because in this one, it's just like Sasuke just allows himself to get taken over by a Genjutsu. He's about to let himself get taken over completely. Then, boom, Sharingan. Sharingan just solves everything. That's when that shit started happening. Like, okay, if you ain't got Sharingan, you ain't winning shit. That's where that started.
Son told me like after that fight, I'm like, no way Orochimaru was done.
Yeah,
No way that's the last time we about to see that guy.
And then Sasuke had like fucking snakes growing out of him and shit. I'm like, all right, something up here. Why are you just now summoning the snakes and shit? Something's up here. You. Something wrong with you.
So is like Orochimaru immortal or something? Like they never said what happened to him at the end.
I'm assuming that Pedo is still on the run.
I'm like, what the heck happened to this dude?
Uh,
I assumed that I guess Sasuke went out and just like made his own village or something. Because why the heck did you go running around the world for a while and then knocked up Sakura and then just left the village again? I suppose. Because
damn. So I can.
I'm like, how the heck did you what did y'all do? Like, did she leave the village and then come back and then have the child in the village? Like, what happened?
So I can assume he came back after the last movie. He got with her, knocked her up, and then when it was born, he's like, that's your problem. I'm going to like go across the world again, see if I missed anything. I still
Sasuke
have
just
this.
deadbeat dad.
I still have this Renegon issue to deal with, so I'll come back later, baby. Okay, I'll come back later. And then he just runs off. He does his own thing.
That nigga teleports out.
That's right. Oh, that's right. Okay, then Heavy's formed. Then Sasuke fights Datara, which and then we didn't figure out like Datara hates Uchiha because of their eyes and shit.
Like
And then
everyone just hates the Uchiha. Just
it's like a
everyone.
natural thing. It's like
Orochimaru too. It's like them niggas are so envious.
they thrive on envy and hate. They be drinking too much haterade. That's why, or Sasuke be drinking.
But that's another good fight though. Sasuke versus Tadariya. I was watching that earlier this year too.
That's another fight that was actually good in Shippuden, and up until the disintegration of Sasuke.
I think it was like the last time he used that curse seal.
Oh my God, you're right. Oh wait, no. Oh wait, no. In the Itachi fight, that's just pretty much a desperation move. And later. I know
Cool.
we've been dragging on, but still, I'm covering everything here. I'm covering everything that I can. That is the last time we actually see the curse mark in action. I love it how pretty much how the fight ends. Like Sasuke decks him, Datara gets like all pissed, and he pretty much just like, you know what? I'm gonna blow us all up. I'm gonna blow us
The
all
only
up.
thing that nigga can do is be a suicide bomber.
Yes, that's it. That's it. It's all he is. And then Sasuke saves himself by summoning Munda.
I thought that's what happened. I was trying to remember.
And then he like has him spit him out. And it's just like, you summoned him? What happened? That happened. I was in a fight with a suicide bomber. Do you want the entire story? Do you want the Spark Notes version? Bitch, I'm hurt. Bitch, I'm hurt. It did like a day later, he gets up, Karin finds Itachi, they go out to find him, and then supposedly Kisame like holds Heavy back, and then Sasuke goes on to fight Itachi, and that's what happens. And that pretty much
Kazumi versus Suigetsu.
like a mini fight of that until we get to the real meat and potatoes that's been building up from part one and all the way up to this point.
And the best, well, I want to say, if I had to rank the fights, okay, we got Naruto versus Sasuke, and then Sasuke versus Itachi, and then I want to say, of course, the Hidan and Kakazu fight.
Kakashi versus Zabuza too. I don't know. For me,
I'm just talking about Shippuden, and actually, you made me remember one. Kakashi versus Obito. Whenever that. Oh yeah, that's right. That did come to anime. Yeah, I keep forgetting about that.
Oh yes. God, how could I forget that? That was one of the best parts about Shippuden this year.
Yeah, that was tight.
It was like yes, hand to hand, yes.
Like, these niggas are finally fighting with a fist for once.
I had the biggest grin on my damn face. You had no idea. I'm like, yes, finally. We we had jutsu for a second, but the majority of it was like a good mixture between flashback and what's happening right now. That's how you're supposed to do it. Not like, oh, let's talk for an undisclosed amount of time. Let's just say like about a good 21 minutes. Have a little promo for the next episode, and then be like, oh, we're still here. So we spent like what a good 45 minutes preaching to each other, spewing shit to each other, and then the third episode is when shit gets real. It's like, come on with this shit. I hate that. Point is,
They like they gotta talk about they gotta talk about their ideology.
and then we're gonna be talking about eye surgery next on how we're gonna get rid of this Sharingan shit. How do we not go blind? Do you know anything about that, man? Okay. Okay, as a desperation attempt, since the Sasuke's new jutsu, which he was going to use on Naruto at the beginning of Shippuden before Orochimaru interrupted,
And
Kirin.
then at that point, I was like, "Oh my god, he was gonna kill that nigga!" Like if he didn't stop him,
Yeah, I'm
if
like, shit,
Orochimaru didn't stop him, he was about to freaking,
like straight up,
he was about
like
to Benjamin Franklin this dude.
Benjamin Franklin. Good, good. Actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay. The curse mark activates, in which we finally realize, like, Orochimaru's still alive. Yay, you have a pedo inside your body. And then he starts taking over. Then the giant ass snake versus we actually finally see the Amaterasu in action. I'm like, what the hell is this? There's something more to the Sharingan now? It's like I was like half there from when he activated that big ass samurai. I'm like, what is
And I
this
was
shit?
like, "What the heck is this?"
What the hell is this shit about? I thought
Like
you said
Shippuden, I think at that point was like, there's a lot of jutsu that you don't know about that we're just about to go ahead and show you, and there'll be no explanation for it.
at that point, I'm kind of lost, and I'm kind of thinking like, is Sasuke just like dangling in the wind at this point when you summon that giant snake out of his body? So you're telling me his
And,
body
and, and
had
okay,
that giant ass thing inside him the entire time?
like we all knew Orochimaru. We already knew Orochimaru was gonna come back, and even after that, I think some people still suspected that he was gonna come back after that. But didn't Susanoo seal him at that point technically?
Yeah, and then
I'm like, how the heck did they know? Like that whole explanation about how they brought Orochimaru back. I'm like, how? You
bullshit.
got you got sealed. You got sealed by Susanoo. Like didn't he like slice him, and doesn't he like technically get sealed by, like, didn't he have like a gourd with him? Like the samurai, the Susanoo had like a gourd or something with him. I could be getting
Yeah,
confused. I'm like
yeah.
I'm like, what? How's Orochimaru back? Like when I was reading that in the manga for the first time, I was like, really? And mind you, it was like what, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. For some reason, I was up. I was like, okay,
You're like,
I'm
wait
gonna
a
have to
second.
go ahead and go back. I'm gonna have to go back to. I'm gonna have to go to sleep, wake back up, and Orochimaru better not still be here, because this is annoying. I was like,
He's
y'all
like,
really?
you better not be.
I'm
He's
like,
like,
I'm
bitch,
like,
you
did y'all
better not be
really bring
alive.
this guy back?
He's like, bitch, you better not be alive. I'm gonna go. No, I'm gonna go to sleep. All right. And you better not still be alive, because if you are, I'm gonna flip my shit. I'm gonna go to sleep now. What? He's alive?
Like I was pissed at that point.
But that's not until way later. That's not until later down the line. Okay, and then Itachi dies and saying Sasuke is the last time, and he like pretty much like pushes his fucking uh Susanoo ability into Sasuke for.
No, no, no. Here's the thing, because a lot of people, again, like near the end of Naruto, we start to get confused about a lot of stuff that we thought happened. Like that whole thing with, like, he put his hand over Sasuke's eye or something like that, and everyone was saying, okay, he transferred his ability, but it turns out it was something else. And then I forgot what it was.
I see. This is where I'm still lost now. I'm like,
I
oh
was
my.
like, okay, so what the heck did Itachi do?
What the hell did he do? How did Sasuke activate the Susanoo for the
like
first
like
time?
like we all assumed that Itachi gave Sasuke the Susanoo and everything at that point. That's what we all assumed. But then later down the line, come 2014,
Nope.
now we're like, okay, what just happened? Because of
So
some of
what
the
the
stuff
hell
that
did?
happened in the manga.
And then Madara, quote unquote, or Obitobi, which we finally realize is not so happy-go-lucky and dumb as may seem. I gotta admit though,
Like the whole time, everyone was thinking that Pain was
the
the guy running the thing, running Akatsuki. And
but
I gotta give Kishimoto credit for like pulling the wool over everybody's eyes,
the
cause
real would have been
yeah.
Yamato. Would have been Yamato behind that damn mask, man. I swear.
No, I'm just saying about I'm just saying strictly about Toby. Let's just say Toby being the leader. I'm not talking about the big reveal of the guy behind the mask, cause we'll be arguing about that all day about who
That
should
ain't
have
so.
been behind that mask.
Yeah, or Shino. That would have been some shit. Now that would
I'm
have been
like,
some shit.
really?
Like for real. Now that would
I'm
have
like,
been some shit.
he would have been like, y'all ignore me the whole entire time. I got a great jutsu. I use insects and crap.
It was all an act. It was all an act. I would have been dying laughing if that was the case. So, and then we find out that Naruto was too late in saving Sasuke, which sets up the whole like the truth behind the Uchiha massacre, which gives Sasuke another incentive to focus his direction toward
He's like,
because
yeah, I'm gonna destroy Konoha, and I'm like, oh yeah, bring it on.
it's like we're finally gonna get that fight now. It's like nope, that shit ain't.
I really just wanted Sasuke to just go to the village, and then Naruto is forced to fight him. Like that's what I just wanted to happen.
Yeah, seriously, to be like, oh, you bitch, you coming after my village? Well, motherfucker, let's rumble.
Because wait, hold on, are we skipping something?
No, no, no.
Did we skip the pain fight?
we're not skipping the pain fight. I'm getting to that.
Yo, I think that happened before this.
Did it? No, no, no. Sasuke got scooped up by Madara, and then he tells him about the
Yo,
massacre,
bro,
and then
I think that happened before this.
pain happened.
Hold on, I'm gonna look that up. But yeah, keep going. But I'm gonna look that up. I could have sworn pain happened before this.
And then Jiraiya's thing happened. Jiraiya's death happened when he fought Pain, and then Naruto's whole Sage training happens, which I still say Sage mode is one of the best things that happened to Shippuden. That's just me.
Yeah, I like that too. The only thing I didn't like about them dang toads and stuff was that whole child of prophecy type crap. I didn't
Yeah,
like
that's where
that.
that shit started. That's where
That
that
crap
shit
was
started.
retarded. I was like, oh Lord,
It's like
not
no,
this crap.
we went from underdog to the godchild. I'm like, oh no.
Like that was the whole thing with like Naruto trying to be like Dragon Ball Z and Kishimoto trying to like almost mirror his characters after Goku and Vegeta. Like Goku was always supposed to be this low class character. This he was the weakling. Well, not well. Yeah, he was supposed to be the weakling. He was supposed to be like a lower class citizen on planet Vegeta, while Vegeta was like a royalty, like higher class. Like, and I really thought that Naruto was supposed to be that way. Like Naruto was supposed to be just an ordinary underdog ninja, in which part one made him out to be like that, and then Sasuke was the one born with the ability and stuff. But apparently Naruto was the freaking prophecy child, so that
Oh,
negates all that.
yep, null and void that shit right there.
I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that's where that started happening, and then Pain invaded, and then the Pain invaded Konoha and started wrecking everybody's shit, and then even killed the Kakashi. I'm like, oh, he nailed him in the damn forehead, and then Kakashi
I
gets
don't even
brought
remember
back.
that. What?
Yeah, yeah, he.
I remember him talking to his father. I don't remember him getting nailed in the forehead.
Yeah, Pain like directs a freaking like missiles a nail to his forehead when Kakashi's headband falls off, and it like impales him. And I'm like, damn. And then he gets brought back anyway. It's like, okay, this is where the shit started happening. It's like, okay, can't kill Kakashi off. I take it.
Like, at that point, I thought he was gonna die though.
Yeah, I was like, okay, he came back. All right, Kakashi has immunity. Yeah. Then Naruto comes back, and then that's what kicks off the whole. This is what kicks it off. What kicks off the whole Hinata thing.
I think you might be right about the arc thing.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was right. I think I was.
What?
Okay, so let's see. In the anime, it began the Itachi Pursuit arc. It 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 began on episodes 113 to 118, and then spanned episodes 121 to 143, and then the uh the pain arc, which I told you. Wait, hold on. Maybe you're right. Hold the heck up.
I remember him talking about the Uchiha massacre and then Pain arc.
Okay,
No, he didn't.
152 to 173. 152 to 173 was the pain arc. So hold up.
So what the hell was in between?
No,
Uh,
this I'm right. I'm right.
what am I missing?
The Itachi arc came before this. So it should have been Itachi and then this.
Okay, the massacre arc. All
Hold
right.
on, I'm getting confused. It don't matter at this point. It
I
don't
said
matter.
massacre. I said he talked about the massacre, which pretty much implied Itachi shit. So he caused it.
Okay, I might be getting confused. Well, okay. It don't matter.
Okay, Naruto comes in, starts wrecking Pain shit, and then and then Naruto student starts getting wrecked, and then he gets impaled to the ground, and then that's where the whole
Naruto goes crazy and then goes six tail form.
Hinata gets involved,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
that too. I thought she I wanted her to die. God.
no, she gets knocked the hell out, and then
I'm like, she
boom,
didn't die? No.
and then that's where the ugly ass animation started. Pain gets impaled by a damn earth pillar.
I think by this time, I think that's when both me and my brother started reading the manga at the same time. And actually, at one point, my brother was actually way past me. I was like, how the heck is this nigga past me? Nigga was watching the anime like it was a freaking crack drug.
Like there was just one moment in the anime where I'm like, Pain gets impaled with an earth pillar. He gets his eyes rolled back, and he's like pops him back into place. He's like, "Do you hate me?" And then he's just Naruto stuff like, boom, boom, just starts whacking him again. I'm like, did you really just ask that when he's using a pillar? He grabbed the pillar. It's just started beating the hell out of you with you asked, "Do you hate me?"
Like I don't know how people say that was animated poorly. I mean, I liked it,
It
but
was it was
I
kind
guess
of
because I
ugly.
didn't care about I guess because I didn't care about that thing. Like I didn't care about that sort of thing by the time, around that time. Like when the anime started to when they updated the anime like later during the war arc, that's where I didn't like the animation change there.
Yeah,
And
that's understandable.
I know a lot of people say it's a lot better, but I don't know. I actually like the other way better.
And then and then I after that whole debacle, Naruto kills supposedly Pain, and then he finds the real culprit behind Pain, which is Nagato. And he like talk no jutsu his ass down too, which pretty much you tell me.
Yeah, that was that was kind of ignorant. He basically, well, actually, I think that was like the one. that was the one time he actually did that though.
He talk
Correct
no
me.
jutsu somebody.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was the first time he did that.
That's the first time. That is the first time, which set up a whole plethora of shit to come after that. It's like,
You know, I was okay.
oh
I was
great,
okay with that first time. So I'm like, oh my god, he actually resolved it with just talking. So that first time, I was like, okay,
okay,
that's
okay,
cool.
okay, okay. All right. That one time,
But now he
because
tries to do that with everybody. Now he tries to do that with everybody. Tries to do it with Obito, with Madara, with Sasuke, with everyone.
what happens after the pain arc? Didn't wasn't Kakashi's
Killer B.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sasuke is sent to actually go fight
Sasuke
Killer
joins the
B.
Akatsuki because he's like we're gonna use the Akatsuki. I will use even the Akatsuki to achieve my goals. It's like
Yep, that's exactly what he said.
bitch,
Captain
please.
them.
You just finding some reason to keep going, which mind you, he's pretty much like. I think around this point I started paying more attention to Sasuke shit than Naruto shit because it's like, well, at least he makes his shit interesting. You, on the other hand, it's like the same thing. I'll never give up. I'll never give in. With him, it's like he'll just do the unspeakable shit, even if it's stupid, but he'll keep things entertaining. You, you. And that's where Sasuke started getting his ass kicked again. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
Here we
man.
go again. Part one
He
shit.
thought that Killer B would be an easy target.
Everybody, no, this is where he started to become Taka because Sasuke's new reasoning
Yeah,
for
his new
hating his
objective.
shit. Yeah, that's
I'm
where he
like,
started.
what was the whole point of that when like half of them like they just didn't do anything?
His whole team kind of sucks in a sense. Well, Jugo pretty much like saved his ass what twice. If it wasn't for his curse mark, the curse mark that he has, Sasuke would have already died like back there. Because remember that lariat pretty much opened up his larynx and shit, and he started bleeding out. Remember?
Yeah.
Sasuke would have died like a long time ago if it wasn't for Jugo. I say Jugo was pretty much the well. Then again, Sugetsu pretty much like sacrificed himself to take a big hit of lightning from Killer Bee. So yeah,
And
Sasuke was
then and then they come back to Toby with a
a
tentacle
clone.
with a tentacle with a
It's
tentacle
like
tunnel.
it's like a he did all that to you, and it ain't even the real thing. I'd be pissed. I would be legitimately pissed if I was Sasuke. I'd be like, I nearly died for a tentacle.
It's like that nigga strong.
Okay, I'm gonna go hit something. What happened after Killer Bee?
They
The
went they had Naruto. Wait, hold on.
the summit.
Oh yeah, yeah. The summit, and then after the summit, it was the Naruto had to go on that island because they didn't want to tell him about the war. But okay, the summit. Then they issue a summit because basically Sasuke attacked Killer Bee, and I think they knew about. Oh yeah, they didn't know about the war at that point. But at that point, Sasuke was basically a main target, and weren't they trying to like figure out what they were gonna do about Sasuke because it sort of was Tsunade's fault. Like it's kind of like the Hidden Leaf Village's fault because that was one of their ex ninjas who attacked a a cloud ninja or
Yeah,
something. So it was something like that.
can't be jumping a man when he's trying to make rhymes, especially when they're better than Lil Wayne's. What the hell is wrong with you? That Sasuke, what the hell is wrong with you? You make shit interesting, but dude, don't do that shit. Don't do
Look,
that.
man, the only thing I hated is just the whole fact that you like we finally got a black ninja. Why does he have to be a rapper?
Yeah, that
He has
was
to be a rapping black ninja who wears shades, and all he does is rap the whole time. I was like, oh
stare.
my god. You racist little. Like, come
Stereo.
on, man.
That's a horrible stereotype.
I'm like, okay, we get a black ninja, and this dude just raps the whole time. Like if you look at the English dub, I try to at one point. I was like, oh my god, just no, I can't take it. I can't take it. That's why I would rather like anytime Killer Bee speaks, I would rather like hear him in Japanese.
Yeah, didn't they do something like that in Generations? Every time you beat somebody, he rap.
Yes, yes, they did.
Oh god, I remember that now. So Sasuke looking all beat up and him dancing along with everybody else. That was hilarious. And then we have Sasuke pretty much like invading the summit because
And
Danzo's
Naruto,
there.
you gotta. You're also forgetting on. Wait, hold on. Do we? Hold on. Did we skip? Oh no, no. Okay,
No,
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 we
no,
didn't. No, we
no.
didn't.
It
No, we didn't.
happens after.
Naruto did go.
It
He
happens after the
was
summit.
no,
And then,
no. Naruto was going to the summit with Kakashi and Yamato because he was gonna ask the Raikage to basically pardon Sasuke.
on his damn knees, asking to forgive, and I'm like, oh my god, please get up,
Thanks.
bitch, get up now. Then we have like that fake love confession, which
He's
had
like,
me
no,
gagged.
no, no. That was the whole thing. First of all, I actually believed it at one point, and I wanted to believe it.
I
Like,
gagged.
like, like, like you, like usually I don't care about that sort of retarded things, and I still don't. But it's like, come on. I mean, it's the main character. He has a love interest, and everyone was pushing that whole Hinata thing. And I already knew that was basically the direction where Kishimoto was going, because every 5 seconds, Hinata's just right by Naruto for some freaking reason. And
This is
everyone's
true.
like, "Oh yeah, they're meant to be together." I'm like, "Man, it's just a cartoon. I'm not even gonna fight with you about that. I don't care, man." But yeah, about that whole confession, like, wasn't didn't she have some sort of ulterior motive about that or something?
Uh, it was to distract him from getting to Sasuke, I think.
And at this point, now this is, and I think I said something about Sakura, like Sakura does things at some points that you're like about to root for her. When she was going to actually kill Sasuke,
That's not till
like,
later. We're missing an entire part. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're missing the entire part. Wait. We're
okay,
missing. We're missing Sasuke's half. Wait a minute.
okay,
He jumps, he attacks the summit because he hears that Danzo's there, and because he knows that Danzo pretty much initiated the order to have Itachi kill his entire clan. So that's why he jumps the summit. And
Danzo and the Black Ops are basically Illuminati.
yeah,
Like they basically are the villages of Illuminati.
oh my god, he's right. And then yeah, that pretty much we see like him getting more aggressive. You see him getting more cold towards shit. He doesn't even care. He's like, at first he actually gave a shit about his team. He doesn't even care about them now.
Oh,
It's
you
like
didn't like leave them behind.
he left them hanging until like later on.
I was like, okay, what happened to your team?
It's
What
like
happened to Jugo? What happened to Suigetsu? I actually gave a crap about them.
he uses the Susanoo. We actually see that shit in action. He actually, again, if it wasn't for the Susanoo, Sasuke would have died right there too because of that lariat. And if it wasn't for the Black Flames, he would have died. Plenty times where Sasuke would have died too. So it goes in between with Naruto and Sasuke here, which then initiates like Garra coming back for a split second and being like, "Oh, you're the same as me when I was back then.
You're the same as me. The way I
Please."
was back then, before Naruto, he saved me.
Oh God.
Like, I can't do his voice at all. I
No,
cannot do his voice at all. But yeah, that's
that's
pretty much it.
and then the Susanoo activates, and he's not like you because you used to kill everybody who even looked at you funny. Sasuke just putting his haterade towards something. You, on the other hand, just you kill people who just look
like,
at you
like
sideways.
Sasuke has a goal.
You just kill people for fun, for shits and giggles. You tried to kill Lee in his sleep in the hospital. Remember that shit? I'm like, you used to run up on people in hospital beds. That's how cold-blooded you were. Now you're like
Nah,
a
that
joke.
nigga, nah, that nigga G.
Now,
That ninja's a G.
and then yeah, just I would have loved to see Mifune versus Sasuke fight after they clashed for a minute. I'm like, damn. Can we get that fight real quick? No, fine. Just kill my expectations now before I even get him high. He fight like I'll give Sasuke credit. He fights all the Kages for a minute before it starts catching up with his ass. Didn't
Like,
he?
oh yeah, maybe I need to rethink that.
Even with Zetsu there, it's like okay, this is killing my eyesight. Yet I'm still gonna go hard. It's like I like that. It's like even if it's like the smallest enemy, Sasuke's like go big or go home. Like he'll pull out all his damn guns at freaking Jump Street before he can even get to the Fifth Street.
And that nigga will stay using his eyes too.
Yeah, that's how his eyes get screwed up later on in the Danzo fight.
He's like, man, I gotta use it. That's the only I know how to use. Like, I think at that point, I started to sort of get irritated by the way Sasuke was fighting.
Yeah, he does. He didn't plan things out like he used to. Like I think in the Deidara and Itachi fight, those were the ones he used to like think things out. In the Killer Bee fight, he pretty much just started to be like, okay, let's just go ham because here come Killer Bee just spinning into the shit. It's like, okay, shit, shit, shit. My eyes can't keep up. Oh god, oh god. That's pretty much how that.
Like the thing was, because a lot of people felt this way. It's like there's a lot more strategy in part one than in part
Yes,
two.
yeah, it is.
Like the beginning of part two, there was strategy. Like the Itachi, like when they first was fighting the Itachi clone or whatever during the first few episodes, and again the first few arcs, it had strategy in it. But then the last part of the show, there was like, well, we're gonna do some really spectacular Dragon Ball Z type stuff, and we'll try to explain it. But if we don't, just go with it.
Go hard or go home.
Yep, pretty much.
It just pretty much had this go home, go hard or go home mentality, and I kind of just did not like it at that point in time. And then Madara, quote unquote, shows up after Sasuke like gets teleported to the Nether realm or some shit by the by the Setsukage, I think. Like he gets obliterated for a minute, and then like Obitobi brings him back. He loses so much chakra, and then he just like oh
I
you have
thought
to
he
go.
went after Donzo.
No, that's after like Zetsu heals him. Madara like dumps him off where Danzo
Oh
is,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then they fight, and then like Madara quote unquote is like hanging up on the tippy top and just looking at it. And then Corinne's there, and it's like, oh, she pretty much is like helping your ass out because you're not thinking straight anymore. He keeps dying and coming back. Maybe the eyes have something to do with that. Oh, good. Did I really need you to tell me that? I obviously see that.
Isn't
Yeah,
this the
that pretty.
point where like isn't this the point where he hits her or like stabs her or something?
That's after. After.
They
Oh
stabbing
yeah,
somebody.
Danzo takes her hostage. He's like, "You're useless to me." The moment you got captured, I'm like, "Damn, you dick, you dick."
Realest ninja in the entire show.
He's right though, and I keep forgetting that he has those like those chakra plates in his under his armbands.
Yeah.
That he can summon Shuriken with. I keep forgetting that. I kept forgetting that because he never freaking used them until like that then, and he'd use them at the end of
The
the shit.
Itachi fight and then at the end.
It's like, oh yeah, he had those. And then Sakura shows up and she's all like, oh, just take me with you. And then Sasuke tried to kill her. That's where
Well,
that shit
first
started
like
happening.
first wasn't her plan like okay, she was basically gonna go with him and if not, she's gonna try to kill him. And then Sai and Lee and Wasn't Kiba there also?
No, she like knocks them out for a minute.
But but what's my point? Shino was not there.
Oh my god, you're still on
Once
the Sheena thing.
again, like once again, Shino was not there.
Oh
It
my
was
god, you're
Kai. I mean Kiba and Sai. I mean they were there.
yeah, they were there.
Yamato, Yamato was there, but Shino wasn't there. But like I was about to say earlier, because I know I was kind of sort of like jumping the gun.
Oh yeah,
But,
Donzo uses himself as a suicide. He even goes like a data approach and uses like a seal. That seal on his body is a suicide bomb. Gets him. That don't work, and he still got his
didn't they
eye.
have that in Storm in the new Storm game? That was like a one hit kill or something.
I don't
It
think
was
so.
like it was some move that you could do with him that everyone kept telling me that's a one hit kill. That's like stay away from it. I was like, okay, I take y'all word for it.
I didn't try. I didn't try that. Anyway, what were you gonna say? What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, I was about to say because earlier, s- yeah, Sakura about to come up there. Her plan was basically I'm either go with Sasuke or I'm gonna try to kill him. Now at this point, I was rooting for Sakura. I was like either go with him, which would kind of be kind of cool, but then again, she wasn't planning on going with him because if I remember correctly, she was planning on trying to kill him. And
Yeah,
so Kakashi he steps in and of course breaks up the whole freaking thing because Sasuke was going to freaking try to kill her. But I wanted Sasuke to kill her because then Naruto would have went there and then he would have went crazy, and that's what I like. But
yeah,
no,
that's what it probably like set it off.
I'm
Had
like something really like something else really should have happened there other than what happened in the storyline.
in that stupid like, okay, we got them all back in one shot. Okay, Team Seven
It's
reunion.
like
Too
Team
many
Seven
someone
reunion
died.
fight again. So now Naruto and Sasuke fight part two, or sorta.
Or Storm 3 does that for us, which is pretty much the only part of Storm 3 that I actually liked. Storm 3 pretty much did that for us. It's like
Storm
they
Two did it
fight
too.
they fight in the game. Well, yeah, Storm 2 did it back when they first met up
I mean,
again.
technically, the last Naruto Sasuke fight, it was like really like their third or fourth kind of fight, but they just went all out on two separate occasions.
I'm like, Kakashi, damn you, man. The one time when you ain't supposed to be G, you be G. Don't be G right now. Don't be a G right now, okay? You can do us a favor, okay? Just let him do all of us a favor and knock her ass asunder so we can finally get the fight. You ass. I was I was screaming, man. I'm like, no! Why? 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 Oh man, I was like, just like, why? And then Naruto shows up. I'm like, okay, all right, we're gonna get this fight regardless now.
And then that whole thing that he says that he says to Sasuke where he's like, if we fight again, I know one of us are gonna die or something like that.
That and our roles could have
And
been
I
reversed.
held on to that. I held on that. I held on to that like throughout the whole war arc. I'm like, if we don't get a fight, you know how pissed I'm gonna be.
Yeah,
We don't get a fight.
that and our roles could have been reversed. And I'm thinking like, what if? Like, what if? What would happen then? Like if Sasuke stayed, but Naruto left to do something else. Huh. And then the war arc happened, right?
Uh, no.
Oh yeah,
Killer Bee. They Killer Bee training on that island.
Naruto's praying again,
Well, I don't really
which
call that training. Well,
okay, the whole epiphany of Naruto as a godchild and Kushina actually having
yeah, he
some
meets
sort
meets his mother.
Kushina actually having some sort of chakra
Actually,
link in his body.
we forgot to mention that he meets his father during the pain fight.
I forgot because that was so damn long. I'm like, how y'all dead? Y'all dead. Ain't people
I'm like, how y'all
dying?
niggas alive
I'm
inside your
like,
sun?
isn't the Ninetales building a big ass crater or some shit? How? Why did time stop out there or some shit? How does this work?
He's
I
up
never.
there having a reunion with his father while tearing everything up.
And there was this one instance back in part one where Naruto was falling in that big ass pit where he was trying to summon Gamabunta. Remember that?
Yep.
And he met the fox for the first time. I'm like, aren't you falling to your death right now? Did time stop or some shit? I'm like, when they do that whole monologue thing in his mindscape, I'm like, ain't something more important going on right now? Does time just like freaking freeze for like a few minutes or so for this to work? No, then this must be a quick ass conversation, cause yeah, this don't make no sense. I forgot about that part. Yeah, thank you for bringing that back up. And you get the whole backstory on how they died, and uh,
I still don't get how in the world, like,
they have a whole monologue with Kurama's claw or nail, giant
I just don't
ass.
get, like, how is Naruto Uzumaki if because that's his mother's maiden name, so, her surname, whatever you want to call it, her last name. Like, how in the world does he get her last name? That doesn't make any sense.
Because obviously the village did not want, the third did not want them knowing that he was the um, Namikaze, and
Oh, okay,
that's
I
why
get
the
it.
whole village
Okay.
keep that shit a secret. Remember,
Oh
which
yeah, yeah, yeah.
dicks, which they were dicks
And
for doing so.
in which I think that the third Hokage, like I said, he was the worst Hokage because
Yeah,
you left Naruto and Sasuke alone. They were orphans. You didn't there's no orphanage. Like that's another thing. They don't have an orphanage,
yeah, that's the
and
fucked up part. It's
they
like
don't have an orphanage in the village. So these little kids just be living alone, just just living in the house alone with dust
no wonder they're
and
warped.
spoiled milk.
No wonder they're warped. It's like
Exactly. I'm like,
the village are dicks, man. Ever since then, I'm like, the village are a bunch of dicks. The Leaf is a bunch of dicks. Now I'm like fully behind Sasuke killing their asses now. I was like, at one point, I'm like, oh, damn. When I actually put this all together, I'm like, oh, go ahead, kill them. Kill them, man. Just go on the kill spree already. Oh, commit the mass genocide again. That's horrible. But seriously, the Leaf Village is a bunch of dicks, especially the third, because he knew. The worst part of this is he knew all along, yet he didn't say a damn thing. And you're right.
I'm just thinking, I'm like, if the whole village knew that that was the son of the fourth Hokage, do you know them niggas would have probably left that nigga alone? They probably would have left Naruto alone.
Exactly, but since
They're
no
like,
one
oh
knew his
snap, it's the
actual
fourth
last
son? Oh
name,
nah.
but since no one knew his actual last name, nope, gotta give him shit every 5 minutes.
And Sasuke, that's just your own freaking fault. Y'all too scared to talk to each other for all them years.
Yeah, that's really lands on them or shoddy writing. Because seriously, God, what happened after
Oh
the
yeah, you were about to say about Naruto, quote unquote, training with Killer Bee. I kept interrupting you.
oh yeah
It's my bad.
the nine tail part of him understands what he went through and shit. But pretty much is like,
Oh
oh,
yeah,
we
and you
finally,
got to meet evil Naruto.
yeah. I'm like, oh, the real one I've always wanted to see. Can we no, just lose just once. I want to see how this turns out. Just lose for once, okay? Just lose for once. You hide in the body for a while. Let him just take over. I want to see how this rolls, just once. But no, did we have a giant ass fight in this mindscape of against Kurama
And
with
they
B
play tug
helping
of
him,
war.
with B helping
Chakra
him,
tug of war.
and then that's how he gets the
Chakra
Nine Tails
mode.
mode, the Nine Tails chakra mode.
In which at that point I was like, okay, so he's got Super Saiyan mode now.
Yeah, pretty much. I was like, oh, the equivalent of Super Saiyan mode. Great. This isn't a callback to. This isn't a nod to anything. And his hair's sticking up too.
Like at that point, I was like, okay, Kishimoto's fine. Kishimoto's like, yes, I finally achieved Dragon Ball Z status. I'm like, okay.
You bitch. What happened after that? The war started, right?
Nope, Kazumi and Guy, because Kazumi was gonna go back and go to the Akatsuki, because Killer Bee. Wait, hold on. Hold on, am I getting it mixed up? Oh no, I'm not getting it mixed up.
Got a timeline on you.
Oh nah, I had to exit out of that. But I think at this point, Kazumi, they fought Kazumi at this point. Oh, Guy fought Kazumi. Kazumi, I thought he put like Naruto and Naruto, Killer Bee, and whoever else. He put them in that water bubble thing. And wasn't I know Guy and Kazumi fought at this point. I'm pretty sure. Because at that
Yeah.
point, I knew a lot of people thought that Guy was gonna die at that part. And that's when we got to see Kazumi in his shark transformation.
Oh yeah. Ah, right. Okay. Yeah.
And then I think after that fight was when Killer Bee started going around with his blade.
Yeah, he started just carrying that thing around because his sword liked his chakra so much. It's like, ew, oh god, it's the thing's a living thing, and it's just like on you because it's like, okay, whatever, man, just
Or
whatever.
was it before that he had the sword? I'm trying to think. Well,
No,
regardless, Killer Bee had the sword.
B fought him, and then and then Kisame lost, and then he took his
Didn't he
sword.
like hide? Like I thought he hid in the
He hid
sword
in the
at one
sword,
point.
and nothing never happened from that, did it?
No, I thought he came out of the sword though at one point. It was something like he was sent to spy.
Something elaborate.
Yeah, I'm a little fuzzy on that part.
Yeah, me too.
I don't have the timeline on me anymore. I'm trying. I'll try to put it back up for the remainder of this.
What happened after that? Didn't the war start?
Now the war has started.
Christ.
Like
Okay,
good grief.
Kabuto didn't like
Kabuto went snake mode.
yeah, he finally see his ass again, and then he's like gives a proposition to Toby, and that pretty much goes where it goes. He like summons the Akatsuki again, and it's like, oh,
How in the world did half of y'all get back?
how are
It just
y'all?
makes no sense.
How are half of you mothers even alive? And then he even summons the Seven Swordsmen, and then the whole like every village starts to form as a unit because we must fight and shit.
Didn't gotta like make some type of speech or something, or although
Yeah,
Kage made some type of speech.
I forgot what it was.
But the important thing is the war started.
Finally, which irrelevant as it may have been,
Yeah,
we got
it started like the first part of it. We was like, I think
it.
we was like, oh my god, this crap is boring.
It was jet lagging so much. I think we can both agree that we were just like at this point we were just like,
It's
okay,
like hurry up.
can we
But
like
then,
do
but
something?
then all of a sudden, Madara came out.
Yeah, it's like this dude just
Then he
cue the
started
sirens,
wrecking all the Hokages and everything.
like cue the sirens and shit. No way, he owned everybody on the field first in the sand part. Even the little Naruto clone that Naruto had running around after Naruto and B fought
Yeah,
Itachi.
they bought. No, they bought. No, I thought they fought the Raikage and Tsunade first.
Yeah, that was first, and then they fought Nagato and Itachi. And Itachi broke the reanimation illusion, I guess. I don't know how. So I guess he's the only.
Because he's Itachi.
Yeah, so common sense is invalid. That he pretty much like negates it, and he goes off to finish off Kabuto and the other reanimations. With that happening, uh, what? Yeah, Madara steps on the field and just starts wrecking everybody's shit, and I'm like,
I was
yes.
just so happy to see all the Kages just fall. Just
I
fall.
was I was just happy to see everybody getting their shit wrecked.
Especially Inoki. Inoki really pissed me off. I do
And
not like him. He's the most annoying character of the whole war, like every time. Oh my god. This nigga had a speech or something to say, man.
do you mean the old man, the old midget?
Yeah.
Him, yeah, yeah.
I'm like,
Even
oh my god, if you don't shut up.
it's not the big ass crater and everything. It's like Madara's like, okay, bitch.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god.
Madara's
I'm like,
like,
he's about to kill this old man.
Madara's like, okay, bitch, you gonna stop that one? All right, here's another one.
He's about to squish his little tiny tail. He squish this tiny old man.
He's short. He's short. And then Madara's whole Sasano started wrecking ass and shit. I think the Kages got wrecked. Like, simply put, they got wrecked. And when Madara showed up, I'm like, yeah, we all know where the badassery went. It was lacking. It went to him. It went to him. Is YouTube allowed to? Are y'all allowed to show bunch of rape on here? Because that's what Madara is doing right now. He's just raping everybody on the field. Y'all allowed to show this? that's really all that happened. And then going back to Itachi's point of view, Sasuke finally steps back onto the field. He finally just starts. He wrecked the Toby's hideout first, and then he just started wrecking a bunch of Zetsus. And he's like, "Oh, okay, Naruto, I got you in my sights now, man. My eyes, I got my vision back. They can see clearly through darkness. I have you in my
Oh
sights."
yeah, I remember that. Like every freaking point in Shippuden, there's like, okay, we see a bunch of Naruto at one point, and then all of a sudden, like 60 to 70 episodes later, we get to see a little bit of Sasuke's face. And then we don't see him for a few more episodes, and then we see him finally.
And then so the Sasuke started really just really started to become my favorite character because it's like, okay, enough about you and you talk no jutsus and shit. Just let me just see what he's doing right now, even if he's knocked out. Can I just can I just see what's happening over on that side who's trying to kill you? And then the whole Sasuke and Itachi reunion happened, or Itachi just kept running off to find Kabuto while Sasuke's trying to get answers, and he's like, "How are you
He's like, oh my
alive?"
god, brother.
Like, man, I got questions, and you got answers. I got your. Here's what happened. I get. How are you alive? Number one, you look okay. I got your eyes now. How are you alive? And you,
Wait, and didn't Itachi have his eyes though?
yes,
I was like,
yes.
how the heck is any of this?
That's never explained.
Like, there's so much that just does not add up in
Sasuke
like the
has his
last part.
eyes. Sasuke has his eyes. So how in the hell does Itachi have another set? Did God just say? Did Kami just say? Up in their world, just say, "Oh, you lost your eyes, did you? Just here, take them. Just take them. You're Itachi. Just now go.
I didn't know Kami could interact with the Naruto universe, but okay.
Let's just go with it." And then, oh wait, you're relevant to the plot again. Now get back down there. Let's just go with that.
And didn't Nagato have his eyes too?
Who?
Nagato.
Oh my god, he does. I just remembered
I was
that.
wondering, I was like, How? That
There's
doesn't
so
make
many
any sense.
unexplained plot points, my man. I'm telling you.
And don't get me started on the ending.
Let's save that until let's just save that for the last 15 minutes, because we're almost at the end anyway.
We're
And
so
then
close.
yeah, we are close. And then we have a whole okay, Sasuke finally has a resolution where he's like, okay, you kept telling me every time, like next time, Sasuke, or may or
Maybe later, Sasuke.
maybe later, Sasuke, just flicked my forehead and said, just call it a DAY. Well, you know what? I'm gonna fight with you, and ain't a damn thing you or that sickly motherfucker over there can do about it. Said, who are you? It's like Kabuto. Oh my God, what the hell happened to you? And
I
then
got
that's
too
like,
obsessed with trying to be like a Orochimaru.
well, that's nice. Let's kill him. And then we see Uchiha Brother starts wrecking his shit. Then he gets trapped in the Izanami, which pretty much it was what Danzo
Like
was doing.
all the Uchiha moves that are like that.
Are like are
Like
like
that's tight.
kill switches. Are like
Like
almost
that.
like kill switches.
Like that was like that move. The way that it is, the way they explained it. That's another tight point. That's another cool point.
It's Itachi, that's why.
Yep.
It's Itachi, that's why. We get to see both their Susanos in action, which is really. I say that fight is one of the good fights, even if
I
it's like
think
on a deep
we
level.
I think we saw it. Well, I know we don't really have to touch on every single detail of the war. There were a lot of like different fights. The Genkaku and Kenkaku, I think that's how you pronounce the Gold and Silver brothers. Their fight during the war.
I skipped
There
over
was
the
just a
cut.
Yeah, there were a bunch of different fights that
I
the
skipped
guy knew.
I skipped over the Kakashi versus Zabuza fight because it was just like in part one, but this time it's like Kakashi's like trying to understand, like, you do remember what happened, right? You died with honor. This is not how you wanted to go out. You died
Like
with
that was the
honor.
whole thing with all those like the clones and everything. I was happy they didn't spend a lot of time with
Yeah.
like people trying to fight like reanimated versions of people they already fought, or people they loved. Like even the Ino Shikacho team. I mean, they had to fight Asuma, which that was a
Wasn't even like
pivotal
a
point.
which was didn't even have that much of an impact. It's like, okay, they
No,
got
I
their shit
mean no, because Choji, see, Choji developed in the show, but guess who didn't?
together. What happened then?
I mean, Choji like Choji developed, but guess who didn't?
Shut up. We get it. Shido is relevant. Hashtag Shido sucks. Move on. I'm
But
using
okay,
that.
yeah, back to what you were saying. I was just wanted to point out that we missed a few things, just in
Yeah, I
case
know.
anyone was wondering.
Because again, when we got to the war thing, we just like hit jet lag, man. It's like, okay, can we move this shit
Like it was
along?
so many different fights. I mean,
And
and
this
then
shit
like
is
the
still
thing
on
was
jet
like
lag. This
the
shit is
thing.
still
Like, go
wait,
ahead, man.
wait. This shit is still on jet lag even in the anime as of right now. We're just now at the point where Naruto is talking no jutsuing to Obito right now. I'm dead serious. I'm like, do you know how much ground we have to cover, and you are still
That
on
is
filler?
exactly why I'm not watching it until probably like next year when all of it is it's probably gonna be like near the end by the time I'm watching it. So
Oh yeah,
I wanted to
speaking
go
of,
through all of that.
I skipped over the Kakashi Gaiden. Pretty much shows how
I mean, well,
Obito.
that was technically filler, but yeah.
Which is explained later anyway, so it's like it's kind of relevant. The bowler didn't do his job. Obito was pretty much like Naruto Sasuke mix, pretty much being like Sasuke because he's an Uchiha, and Naruto because he wanted to be Hokage, and it was pretty much like Naruto back in the day.
You also skipped over God of fighting his father.
Damn it!
Again, there was just a lot of different small little fights. But really,
And
the major fight was, of course, Madara, in which they did not even kill this nigga, even at the end.
later, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
But we're so close.
I know we're so close, but wait, wait. So, uh, oh yeah. Pretty much like Guy, Kakashi, and Naruto pretty much like take on Obito, or wait Toby until like Naruto breaks his mask, and then Guy and Kakashi have a revelation. They're like, "What the hell?" Kakashi's like,
Well,
"Oh,
first of all, they were trying to figure out how in the world this guy would just like slipping through their like all their punches and stuff.
yeah." Before Naruto showed up, they were like, they didn't couldn't hit anything.
Cause man, he was just slipping through like every freaking hit and everything, which
And
is
I love it.
something I found pretty cool about him.
Wasn't Madara just chilling over over on the sidelines for a minute
I'm trying to
before?
think what he was doing. Wasn't he like fighting all the other ninja that was out there, or he was fighting the Hokages at one
He was
point?
still fighting the Kages until he like showed back up, and then Obito was like, "Here's your gay ass fan back, man. Here, just take this gay fan of yours back. I don't need
I'm
it."
like, they really had an elaborate plan. I'm like, I'm gonna be you for a while, and so I'm gonna need your fan. Okay,
Or pretty much like
and
Madara
don't
invaded
get
his
that
mind.
joint
Like,
scratched up.
okay, you just don't scratch it. I'm gonna break your leg this time, and then Zetsu's gonna have to take over that one. Got it? I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna have another boulder fall on your ass because I can summon a damn planet of rocks. God, that's hilarious. He can summon a planet, a planet-sized rock, and just squash you. You think that's what he does for like bugs and shit? Just like, oh, a mosquito, planetary
Well, Pain,
devastation.
yeah, Pain, isn't that Pain's move?
Whatever. I forgot his late shit. And then he gets unmasked. We now know that Obito survived the whole Boulder fiasco. I'm like, that
And
Boulder did not
everyone
do it
and everyone on the internet gets angry at that point.
at that point because Sawyer called this. Sawyer Seven Image called this. I'm like, damn, you you dick. I wanted it to be like, now that you said Shido didn't do shit. I'd rather it have been Shido or
I'm trying to think because back then I had my own theory about who it was, but I forgot who I thought it was the whole time though.
Yamato. I always thought it was Yamato.
I don't know if I thought it was him. I don't know who I thought it was, but I did not
He's
think it was gonna be Obito. I didn't want it to be somebody obvious.
Wouldn't it have been some shit if it was Sakura the entire time?
Like why?
And then people started having some stupid theories about it being Sasuke. I'm like, how? That man is in two places at once. He has better shadow clothes than Naruto does. Shit. He got one doing all the work, and the real one's out on the table getting his eyes transplanted by himself. Okay. And then, wait. After the whole Sasuke Itachi reunion thing, and Itachi finally goes up into heaven, and he's like smacking his forehead for
It's
what
like I
Sasuke
love
would do
you,
later.
Sasuke, 'cause you're my brother.
Until he slaps his forehead from heaven and being like, "What the shit are you doing down there now? You dumbass! What are you doing now?"
He's like
I
he's like I trust you, Sasuke. You're on the right road.
I love you no matter what, as long as you don't do anything else stupid.
Like I'm looking I'm looking at the thing that I pulled up earlier, and it just has the part where Itachi is sort of like grabbing Sasuke and looking at him. He's like, "Nigga, you better not mess this up."
That's pretty much how it looked like. Like, don't, don't you screw up
Like he had
anymore.
his hand on his neck. If you really look, well, not on his neck. He has it on his head, but yeah.
It'd be funny if Itachi like headbutted him and been like, "You better not screw up nothing else. You better not screw up nothing else," and just headbutted him.
And just getting back to the Obito thing, just
Go
the
ahead.
whole fact that he started the war, essentially because of a little girl that Kashi ended up letting die, which you find out that it's a big elaborate plot. So yeah, that was another thing that got people angry.
Yeah, because it's like, okay,
You
okay,
started this whole thing over one thing like that.
because you could not get a girl. 'Cause you couldn't get no ass. You're pathetic. You
It's
couldn't let
like
a boy do its job.
it's like he never read that I'm trying to think what book did we have to read in like the 12th grade? It was like Troy or something, like Helen of Troy.
Oh yeah,
I'm
hated
like,
that
you
shit.
did not read that book? I'm like, seriously, you went to war basically for that?
Yeah. Now that you've mentioned that, it does kind of remind me of that. Oh God. Before that,
I
it's
think we're on the
Sasuke.
right track.
Yeah, and then Sasuke brings back Orochimaru thanks to Jugo and Sugetsu finding his ass, and he's like, How did y'all find me?" Just like, is that even explained? Like, they just randomly show up. Like, after all that, it's like, oh yeah, because they found like how to bring back Orochimaru or some shit, right?
I don't even know how in the world he brought him back. I'm still trying to figure that out. Wasn't it was like it was like a tablet or something in the Uchiha hideout? I know Sasuke went back there for something.
He went back there to get answers from the Hokages, which Orochimaru brought back. I'm still like,
But why
you
would
brought.
the Uchihas even know? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, they did explain that sort of kinda because Setsu, it was like the tablet they like Setsu or whatever or Kaguya or whatever, was setting things up with the tablet so that Madara and the Uchiha would do certain things and think a certain way because they were screwing with that tablet because then that tablet's supposed to actually say something else like they rewrote it or something. I can't remember uh
Yeah, that I
correctly.
can't really remember that
There's
much.
so much about this plot in Shippuden. Like by the
Which
end of it, you're like, okay, I'll just go with it. Like that whole thing about Madara's eyes and everything, and his eyes getting stronger even after
we'll
his
get to
death
that
and
in a
stuff.
minute.
I was like, yeah, I know, I keep skipping. I know.
Orochimaru just coming back just pissed me off when I finally saw that anime. And I'm like, even when I saw it back then, I'm like, really? You summoned him for answers? We could have just went to the Uchiha hideout anyway. Why we had to bring this rapist back? Why bring the
Because
rapist
he's the
back?
only one that knows reanimation jutsu.
I hate that. And then we break the Hokages back, and it's like they can sense the battle going on, and then we have a whole another flashback of how.
It's like everybody has key sense in Dragon Ball. I mean, in Naruto. Like everyone got key sense.
And now Korra has that in season 4. What, nothing for that?
No, because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, you'll see it. You still didn't see episode 7 yet?
I told you I've been very, very busy. I have not done nothing all day, but just
Right,
been reading for college. That's it.
right.
It's the only free time I've had all day. But yeah.
All right. That being said, the Hokages were brought back. There's a whole other flashback between how Hashirama and Madara met, which I completely skipped over because I'm like, at this point, I don't give a
Hey, I
shit
like
about
it.
this.
Like I
I
was
don't.
like I was waiting. I was actually waiting for them to animate that because I really wanted to see. Because like when I was reading it in the manga, I was like, this seems like completely different to like all the other parts in Naruto almost.
Okay, I didn't mean to sound ignorant. Let me just restart that. What I mean to say is, I kind of saw some of it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, now y'all fighting. Right. All right.
I don't
But
know. It was an interesting backstory to me.
then we have a whole thing about Sasuke's decision. He goes back on the bat. He goes to the battlefield with Hokage in tow, and then Team Seven
Which I
Ryu.
would have liked it to go the other way around, but okay.
What, Sasuke attacks everybody?
I mean, look, everyone is gone from the village.
So you
Why
just
not?
expect?
Why not just destroy the village?
Big
That's
ass
what you
Grand
wanted to do.
Fireball would do it. A well placed Grand Fireball Jutsu would do it.
Right.
Then we see Karin like come back for a minute and just like, and he's like, I'm sorry for stabbing you, and she just like instantly forgives him. I'm like, this
And
man
then she started punching, started punching Suigetsu. Poor Suigetsu.
he gets shit on every time, man.
Why is
we,
like all my favorite characters like everyone just hates him?
I don't know. He's all right. He's all right. Team Seven reunites, and pretty much the whole internet just goes like, goes in like gush form. I'm like, all right. I'm like,
And
yeah.
Sakura still is, Sakura. At this point, we finally see what she's capable of. And she, like, it's funny because she's like, I've always been staring at Sasuke and Naruto's back. They've always protected me. Now's my chance. And then, like, I'm watching this in the anime a few weeks ago. Naruto and Sasuke still have to save you at the end
Yeah.
because you want to be all cocky and crap.
Idiot. And then
I
the
don't have
whole
anyone to root for.
the anime is now doing the was doing like this like 2 weeks ago where they like had the Susanoo and like Naito mode like fuse for a minute, so we had like
Yeah.
a Susanoo like Nine Tails. But I'm like,
And then they somehow Sasuke like Jugo's what was it like Jugo's curse mark has like sage jutsu or something in it. I
I'm
never
like that.
got that in the thing. I was like,
I'm like
okay.
that's bullshit.
I'm
That's
like you're reaching now, Kichi.
I
You
was
just
like, you were
put
reaching.
them on the same level.
I'm like, man, you were reaching the moment you had Itachi have his eyes back. That man should be blind.
I'm like every single one of them should be blind. I'm like your eyes are gone.
Data should not even be alive after blowing himself up. He shouldn't even have a freaking body.
Neither should Hidan and Kakazu either.
Sasori. Point is the whole battle. They even die for a minute. Neji dies, which is still pointless to this very day. I'm still like
Oh,
wondering
I gotta talk about it. Oh, we gotta talk about it because
go
this is
go.
retarded.
You go for it. Go for it.
This is retarded. I think I've told you this before, but first of all, every time someone mentions it, I'm like, what about his eyes? What about the rivalry that Neji had with Rock Lee? Like
What
literally, there's
about it?
like literally, there's nothing. There is nothing that's like sort of concluding that. Was Rock Lee even near him during this time? I don't think so.
Oh my god, you're
I think
right.
he was like on the other side of the battlefield. I'm like, Neji could have at least gave Naruto his eyes, or gave Rock Lee his eyes as like a going like just to really just commend their friendship, or just to really tell Lee that he's a strong ninja. Because remember, he used to always be giving Lee crap and everything about him, not being able to do ninjutsu and all this other stuff during part one and everything.
He used to get shit on for it, yeah.
I'm like, literally, y'all are wasting time. There's eyes that need to be getting. I'm like, y'all can at least take the dude's eyes out. Like, even Sasuke at the end talking about giving Kakashi his eyes and everything. And I know we're gonna get to it, but I'm like, look, man, transplant Neji's eyes into somebody, because that was a waste of a death. And again, I'm gonna mention Shino. This is gonna be the last time. Why wasn't he the one that died? He was a useless character. Like Neji's death, like when Neji died, I'm like, okay, Kishimoto is just trying to do stuff. just to get people riled up.
He
I'm
likes
like,
doing that.
at least someone died, so at least we know it's a war. Anyone can die. Like at that point, I was like, okay, so anybody can die at this point. So then I thought Guy was gonna die at one point. Oh nope, nope. And I know we're gonna get to that. Naruto going all just healing niggas' eyes and legs and crap. Like it's just ridiculous. It gets ridiculous at some point.
At some point.
Like at some point, it got real ridiculous. It's like okay, I'm going along with it, Kishi. I'm just gonna
Oh
enjoy the
god,
ride.
you're right. You're right. I never even realized that. Like since in the world of Naruto we could just pop each other's eyes in our skulls like candy or some shit. I mean, why
I'm like
not?
the whole time. Oh no. Speaking of that, speaking of that, wasn't it Madara that just like snatched Kakashi's eyes out like it was nothing?
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck? This nigga snatched this dude's eyes out, and then like in the next panel, Kakashi's like holding his eyes, like, oh crap. I'm like,
Like
for real?
Gonzo was Shishui. Remember that? Like kicked the shit out of him and then just like snatched his eye out. I'm like,
I'm
what
like,
the
dang, is it that easy?
damn? Eye surgery doctors must be jelly as all hell.
But then that crap, like they be acting like that crap don't hurt when they be taking the eyes out though.
You're pulling out nerves and shit. It's like, can we get a little bit of pain here instead of you just grabbing your eye? I get why you're grabbing your eye, but come on, a little bit more pain, like initiating, like this bitch hurts. I'm in pain. I'm in pain. There's something.
Here's what I don't get. So do they like take their old eye out or what?
That is a good question. That's never explained either. Shit.
Or maybe I'm just reaching. I don't know.
We're both reaching at this point. But then again, it's like, okay, then what happens? Naruto and Sasuke die for a point, for a mere point in time, and then
Yeah. And
and then
then
the
they
whole
meet the. Wait, hold on. Did we even get to the point where Obito he becomes the Jinchuriki, the Ten Tails
yeah,
Jinchuriki?
that after
It's just so
Kakashi
much that happened.
after Kakashi and Obito duke it out, which is still probably the best animated thing to come out of Shippuden this year.
Yep.
By that and Obito going like ape shit and killing everybody.
Yep.
It's
That
like,
too. Let's not forget.
yeah. God, there was some good stuff that happened at Shippuden this year. I'll be honest.
This has probably
He
been
became,
one of the best years for it.
yeah, considering it ended. He becomes a Ten Tails Jinchuriki, which apparently he can just summon a bunch of black discs, which is pretty much indestructible chakra or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
He
they
looks
never
like this.
explain what those black balls on the Naruto is either.
Yeah,
They don't explain what those black balls are, but I
pretty
guess
much,
they're just chakra.
Obito is pretty much like a scaled up, ugly ass dragon or some shit. I don't know what he's supposed to be. I don't know what he's supposed to be.
But in order to defeat him, basically Naruto all he does is do a talk no jutsu, and we're just sitting up there like, okay,
Like, okay, is that it or
I was like, I was okay if you did that the first time, but then the second time you do it to someone, especially the guy that basically responsible for the death of your parents, and then
that
you call
still
him a
irks
cool, and then you call him a cool guy a few chapters later. So
that
yeah,
irks the shit out of me to this very day. It's like
I'm
he
like,
talks
I just wanted them to beat the crap out of him.
he's talked
He kind of
such
did.
mad shit to you about your family, about how you suck, about everything that you are, about
About your
everything.
mama and your father.
Yeah, it's like he talks such mad shit, and you just gonna call him a cool guy right after the fact after you talk no jutsu to them. I'm like, this is why I like Sasuke better because he's more realistic than you are. Even he's like Naruto can get emotional, can get way too emotional, and Sasuke's like, man, Get your head straight. We have shit to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
at one point during the war, he's like, look, man, no, Kakashi and Sakura, they're just here. They just happen to be here. Stay focused, because if we die, this whole thing is pretty much done.
He ain't
Like the
lying.
whole world is done.
Hey, it's not like he's lying.
Like Sasuke was ready to just let anybody die on his watch.
Sasuke's like, nah, man, no, I'm not dying to this, and you better get your head straight. These guys are you. Everybody over there is useless. You see that whole space of area over there. Even the people who didn't even get any airtime. Look over there. Look over there. Even Shido. Look at Shido. What's up, buddy? What's up, buddy? You didn't get no airtime either. You still suck. Just you and me. Just you and me. You and me, the only people who actually got any airtime whatsoever. And you expect me to believe that they have any say in what we gotta do right now? Right. Get your head on straight. We have shit to do. We have a war to win. Everybody over there is useless.
Yep.
He's not lying. It's not like he was lying at all. It's like everything up to this point has just been them.
That, and they were the only ones with like the power to even stop Kaguya in the end. So
Oh yeah, Kage was introduced and shit, which was kind of referenced when Setsu came about, and I'm like, oh my god. I'm still saying to this very day, like, Kishimoto had no fucking foresight at all back in part one, all the way up to this point in time, where he just, like, it's like gathering all this shit in. And the whole thing with Azura and shit, I'm like, oh my god, can we get
Ashura and Indra, I'm like, all this other stuff they added in the end. I'm like, wait a minute, like I started
where?
read, like I started reading this stuff in okay, so one day I read like 4 or 5 chapters, and I'm like, wait a minute, is this Naruto, or is this like at some point it just went off the rails? I'm like, for real?
I'm
And we
like,
and we
they
never did get
died.
to, we never got to hear about the Six Sage's brother. We never really got to hear too much about him, besides the fact that we know that him and the Six Sage, they basically didn't they like seal they sealed Kaguya on the moon or something like that at first.
I don't get it either, man.
I mean, I'm just trying my best to like still remember the pieces that I do remember.
When I heard Azura,
Like it's kind of sad that like when you're reading a manga that you have to actually go to someone else, go watch someone else's review in order for you to understand it.
I had to go to Sawyer for that shit. I'm like,
That's what I'm saying.
what's happening?
I was
Am
like,
I
what's
lost?
happening? Like you want to know what's happening in today's manga? Okay, go to Seven Sawyer Mage, because
I'm
there's no
like,
translation for it.
what?
There's no clear translation for it.
When I heard Azura, all I heard was Azura's wrath. I'm like, is that big burly metal arm motherfucker gonna be in here? Where? We crossing worlds at this point? Like, they died, so are we gonna be like crossing worlds or some shit? Oh, it's
I will say though,
okay.
because I don't want to seem like we're just going just being nitpicky and stuff. But I do like the idea of sort of like these reincarnations. Since Kishimoto wanted to go the route of Naruto being the prophecy child and all that crap. So if he wanted to go that route and then add reincarnations with this sort of plot here, it sort of ties in. It sort of works. I mean, I like the idea of being, of there being reincarnations, because it makes sense. It ties things together. It ties the fact that the Senju and like someone like Hashirama and Madara have been fighting, and then someone even I think they say like and before Hashirama and Madara, like there's always been reincarnations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's go with that. All right, let's go with that. but I still say he just like slapped that together like at this point because I swear I refuse to believe it. He had that much foresight back
Yeah,
then.
yeah, I do sort of think I do sort of wonder just like how he planned this whole thing out. If
And
he did have it planned out.
probably that's me being cynical, but I'm sorry, I just refuse to believe that like all the way back then to now.
I'm
That's
like
what that
that's just some convoluted stuff.
that's what that black ball that the Rasengan and Chidori form back in part one was about. Really? Bullshit. 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 And then they come back and Sasuke has the Rinnegan and Naruto has what was this again? What was God?
He had some other type of form of I'm trying to think. Didn't he have like all of the Biju, like
Oh yeah, he
all the
talked to the
Biju
B.
or something?
He talked to the Bijus before, and he was a six paths. He was in the second six
Yeah, he was
paths,
in the six path former or whatever. Can't
and
I
that
can't
pretty
really remember the thing.
it's late. Our brains are getting more scrambled as we go along.
Yeah, we're just trying to finish this thing up.
Yeah, we've covered pretty much everything else. So, oh yeah, and Kaguya pretty much gets her ass beat. I love how Kaguya just comes out of nowhere after.
She is so one-dimensional. She doesn't have a personality of her own, and
It's like this dragged on because Kishimoto did not want to end it. He should have ended it with
with
again with
Madara, pretty much.
yes. She came out of
Like
nowhere.
all of a sudden, she just like coming out of Madara for like no apparent reason. Everyone was like, "Okay, what the heck is happening to this nigga? He
Okay,
going
okay.
crazy."
I'm like, okay, this is dragging on because you want to extend this even further. It just me. I just started like checking back to it because of monotony and because of routine at that point. When she came out, I'm like, okay, monotony's like completely kicked in. It
I'm
kicked
like,
in.
"Who's this little bunny rabbit looking thing?"
Like, it actually monotony started happening for me when actually I'd like to say when shit just started like lagging on when the war first started, and then this happened. I'm like, all right, that's it. But I couldn't. I never put it down once, even though it got so convoluted and shit. I'm like, okay,
Like I stopped for a few weeks and then go back to it 4 weeks later or whatever. Because at some points I was like, okay, this crap is kind of retarded. I don't even understand
yes,
what's going on. I just wait.
exactly. And then they finally beat her, and then Sasuke's all like, okay, it's time for a revolution, and not
And
storm
he
revolution.
says it so many times during that chapter that I'm like, if this dude says it one more time, I think he might be crazy.
I'm gonna strangle that limp
Like
noodle.
one time he just starts to no. One time he just starts a sentence like that. He's like, "Revolution. That's what I want." I'm like, okay, you just like the way that he transitioned into that was just so awkward and so weird.
I know Sasuke was being shifty before when the war first started. When he came in, he was all being all quiet about what he was gonna do afterwards. But
Yeah,
still,
like
this
that,
is
like
like
that's the thing. Like with Sasuke, you never really know where his mind was at on some
yeah. So it was
occasions.
kind of hinted. It was kind of hinted, but not fully like to the point. Like, okay, I'm just gonna turn on all y'all one more damn time. Heel turn. Heel turn. I didn't have a complete face turn yet, so yeah. Let's do this one more time. I'm like, is he trying to sell the game of Storm Revolution or some shit? Is this why he keeps saying Revolution? He had to have known that. Kishi had to have known that Revolution came out at this point, and he just like kept making him say like, "I want Revolution."
Go buy the game. Go buy the game.
I'm surprised that wasn't like a little commercial skit in the middle of some of the manga. Like, go buy it. This is the revolution I was talking about. Go buy it. But it doesn't have everything. Go buy it. And then it's like he knocks out Sakura with a genjutsu. I'm like, damn, he done decked her
Like
out again.
when we first saw that panel, everyone was like, "Oh, did he just kill her? Oh no, never mind.
Oh wait,
It's
genjutsu.
just a
Shit.
Genjutsu." I'm like, what? Like, don't get people's hope up like that.
And he's like, that's the abuse I'm talking about. That's the abuse I'm talking about right there.
Like he comes home, he gets angry, he hits Sakura, leaves, come back, knock her up. Okay, I'm leaving the village again. Like who lets Sasuke right back into the village if he's supposed to be an outlaw? Unless Naruto is Hokage during the time.
There was a whole thing about if he screws up again, then Kakashi's gonna get court-martialed or some shit. I forgot. It's gonna be his head or something.
He's still supposed to be like an outlaw. Like he shouldn't be allowed back in the
Yeah,
village.
after all that shit that he did, I'm like, how? Even if this does kind of wrap up everything, Sasuke still did shit. He attacked Sam. He attacked the summit. He killed Samurai.
I think him saving the world just
Just
erases
null avoids
everything else.
everything else,
Yeah,
right?
I think it does.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, I'll take that then. And then we have again we have one of the best fights in Shippuden. We have
Yep. I
Sasuke.
mean, this fight had everything. It had all the crazy jutsus that pretty much Shippuden was doing the whole time,
And it was
and
the end,
also you know the fist to fist fight.
which even
It
had little
had that.
callbacks. But it even had little callbacks to part one, where Naruto even did the Uzumaki barrage and he transitioned it into a punch, into a uppercut. It's like, uh, I thought he was really legitimately gonna do it like an Uzumaki barrage from
I
part
thought
one.
he was about to actually like say that joint out. I was like,
I
oh god,
know.
he tries to do. He's like, ooh, Sumaki.
I thought we
Oh
were gonna
yeah,
get a
there
lot.
was like one point during the fight, Naruto summons all those clones, and then Sasuke says something like, "See, you're still using that jutsu. That jutsu is." He said something smart. I forgot what he said. I
He,
forgot what the
he
exact
said
words he
something
said.
snarky, like part one Sasuke would probably say.
He was like that, like that jutsu is it's like a metaphor or something for like it is basically like Naruto's always been lonely, so he puts a bunch of clothes around him or something like that. I forgot what it was. It was something. It was something smart though that he said
No,
about him always using that same tired move.
I thought we were gonna get a Lions barrage out of Sasuke. just, and we did get to like the Shuriken, the
Yeah, he used these shurikens, his the things on his wrist that
yeah,
he used against Itachi.
his
I was waiting for him to use that again. I was like, yes.
it just the little callbacks, and then they just started going after each other. It's
And
like
then that,
how
and then that one, like it's like that one point where they're both out of chakra, like they know they don't have anything left to give, so they're
they're
just
spent.
wailing on each other.
It's like
And then
I was
Sasuke just won't give up. He's trying everything to try to kill him.
I was cracking up, but at the same time, I was like loving the chapter. I was like, yes, just take
Like
this.
Naruto trying to do a Rasengan and then he like tripped or something.
Yeah, yeah. And that's actually the first time like Sasuke actually loses like his rope tie and the whole like skirt around the around his body. We actually see like, oh, you it's an actual shirt. You actually have an actual shirt under there. And it's not like okay, it's not like a short shirt. It's actually a full thing. I'm like, huh. You actually did lose something after all for once. Too bad he didn't have his sword because, yeah, I can only imagine how one-sided that would be. Because I don't think did Naruto even have like his pouch at the end of all that? Like,
I don't think so.
yeah, I can only imagine how one-sided that would be if Sasuke actually had his like sword on him then. But then even though Kage's like statue get all busted up at the end, like even in the midpoint of the fight, I'm like, they going in ham. They
I'm pretty sure like the like when they rebuild that valley, it's probably gonna have Naruto and Sasuke just doing that I forgot what you call it. The sign of reconciliation or whatever it's called. It's gonna probably have them doing that.
and then we have one more Chidori slash Rasengan clash with
In which their
like
arms get blown off at the end.
it's like heaven clashing with earth. Like Naruto's at the bottom and Sasuke's coming from the top, and yeah, their arms get blasted off, and they're like talking and shooting shit at each other. It's like, how did y'all not notice that your arms are gone? We got that. Or where is what is it? The adrenaline of the fight still in you guys that much that y'all just haven't felt it yet.
And like Sasuke's like, "Shut up, stupid," and Naruto just looks over. He's like, "Oh shoot."
Oh wait. And then we get the last chapter, which is pretty much like everyone getting like we can just assume who ended up with who. But Choji be liking some chocolate. Choji likes some chocolate. He like all the chocolate.
I was like, what?
I think that was the biggest swerve I think out of anything else that happened in this. Because it makes no sense and it has no.
Crazy is like Kiba ends up with like a random person.
It's that Cloud Ninja chick with that was with the one with the lollipop in his mouth all the damn time. Remember?
I do not remember who you talking about, man. I'm gonna have to look that up.
I forget her name,
Like,
but
I remember the one who Choji's with, but I don't remember the one who Kiba's with.
if he's even with anyone, if
No, that's what I was saying. Like he ends up with like some random chick at the end. Like I don't know who that is.
it's like Choji got bigger.
Actually, kind of yeah. He doesn't look as fat though.
All I know is Choji loved chocolate too damn much. Oh, the joke just writes itself. The joke just writes itself. And then again, the last movie is pretty much the bridge between this and
I hate that movie so freaking much. I hate his existence because it pretty much ruined the last part of this show.
yeah.
I'm like, you could have announced that afterwards. You didn't have to announce it during the ending of the show. Because then that just told us that Naruto nor Sasuke was gonna die.
I couldn't wait until after the manga was gone, and then waited 2 weeks, and then boom, movie.
And then he's announcing part 3, in which I'm like, okay, what was the point of ending the manga then?
It's a mini-series.
Still.
Yeah, you're
Like, you
right.
could have waited for the mini-series, like wait a few years or some bull crap. Like, you just want to spring it out there now. Okay. I'm staying away from it. Like
Here's
a
my
50-foot
question.
pole.
Here's my question: why did Naruto name their damn kid?
I was about to say that. Oh,
Why did they name their
after
kid?
that freaking Disney dog.
Thank you. That's what I was about to bring up. Like, what?
I'm like, Bolt Uzumaki. Okay.
Salada? What?
So later.
Sasuke, were you not eating a salad when your wife was in labor? I swear that mother had to be eating a salad in the waiting room or just looking on, eating or something to get that name.
And apparently Naruto just ignores his child. So now his child's gonna have the same issues he had.
So it's like Naruto didn't learn jack shit after all that. So what did
you're still pranking, like your son still pranks, like he still like does the little things that you did. So What's the point?
So it's like, okay, it's a repeat of part one, but worse because guess what? Dad's alive. Dad and Ma's alive.
And
So,
dad don't pay attention to you, and mom's too busy with her Hugo. Like, what was the other? What was the daughter's name? Did they even?
no, I don't think they even gave her name.
I'm like, they shouldn't have even added her. Like, what was the point?
And guess what? Guess what? What era is this in? Like, seriously, I saw a laptop.
Yes, I was like,
I
wait
saw
a
a
minute.
laptop, and I saw
I was
civilization.
confused too. I was like, okay.
And y'all still using fucking carrier pigeons.
I'm like, what type of that? That's like some Dragon Ball Z stuff. Like, we got dinosaurs, we got like freaking floating cars or whatever. We got time machines.
And
Like,
that's acceptable. I'll let that slip. This,
I'm like, what type of world are we living in?
it does the Naruto take place in.
Like, I always assumed it's like it took place like way, way, way back then. But then when you're showing me computers and crap, it's kind of throwing me off.
Yeah. And here's the joke about Sakura. I was waiting until this moment. We went from useless, annoying background character, well, side character in this case, to having medical ninja skills, having Herculean strength, and that little dot on her head that actually stored up strength, to domestic abused
I
housewife.
knew he was gonna say that.
What the shit happened here? Okay? What happened here? What happened in the development here? It's like a big ass dip just happened after the sorcery fight, and then it's like a big ass just really.
Well,
What?
she wanted to end up with Sasuke.
I mean, just to end up with the man who's really. Have you not learned nothing? He's tried to kill you twice. He's knocked you out once. And I can only imagine if he's one of those drunk husbands, he's one of those mean ass drunks who just comes home just drunk one day and just smacks you across the room for no damn reason. Especially with that Rasen, that with the not the Rasen, God, with the Rinnegan. I
That
mean,
nigga,
really.
that nigga teleported in there while she sleep and beat on her.
And Sasuke got that moderate look now. I'm like, oh shit,
Yep.
y'all better not. Just y'all better not go there with that. And I hate Naruto's haircut. If I could be just say I hate it.
Yeah, I
I
didn't
hate
like
it.
that either.
I still say he should have like hair growing out of his ass at this point, but I guess at the last chapter it made sense, but especially in the last movie, it don't look right. He looks way too kiddish. While Sasuke, on the other hand, has hair growing out of his
Sasuke
damn
just,
eyeballs
Sasuke just looks older. Just looks a lot older.
and looks more wise. While he, like I say, he looks like a
I still
no.
want to know what in the world this nigga thought he was gonna be doing out there, just wandering, seeing the world. He's like, now I can see the world the way that it should have been, something like that. I'm like, okay, so what are you looking for?
I had no clue.
I'm like, your whole goal was one, kill Itachi. Two, restore your clan. Restore
Yeah.
your clan.
No, two, have hatred on the village. Three, then that. It's like your purpose dictates no matter what you.
I'm like him and Sakura better have a bunch of freaking kids at this point.
Yeah, too bad. Yeah, the way Sasuke be talking, yeah. Too bad one of them looks like her and Kage. God, why?
I still think that that's not Sakura's kid. It's gotta be something.
Too bad Sasuke looks like a freaking hobo nomad hobo.
Yeah, in the last.
Look.
But I wonder, is he gonna get his arm though?
No,
Because
from
remember,
what I
he left without getting his arm. But that's not to assume that like they still can't make him an arm.
from what I'm seeing, what I've seen from the artwork, he has one arm and he somehow got another sword. So he's pretty much like a one-armed samurai right now.
I want to know where to keep not get an arm either. Because that doesn't make any sense. I mean, it wouldn't make sense because of the Senju Rama DNA, the Senju DNA, but still.
It's still ass pull to me. Like, okay, let's give him an arm. Well, Sasuke on the other hand will just go about his day with just one arm and he'll be cold.
Like you lose an arm, Senju DNA can help. You lose a leg, Senju DNA can help. You lose some eyes, Senju DNA can help.
I swore I thought they were gonna pull a full Metal Alchemist out of their ass and be like, okay, Automail's now embedded. What? So we could just get metal limbs now? Where was this shit earlier? I swore I thought they were gonna pull that for a minute. I'm like, that would be that what I would actually like, but no, you've already pulled enough DBZ out of your ass. Scratch that. All right.
All right, so this is about the end of this thing, ain't it?
Yeah.
I think we went through everything. We might have missed a few things, but I
It's
think we
late.
covered just
Okay.
about everything.
Yeah. What would you? What would final thoughts about Naruto right now, including
I thought you were gonna ask me what would I rate this whole entire thing is.
yeah, yeah, that's exact that. Let me act that.
Well, the manga, I gotta say, like if I had to go based off the manga, nothing that you read should be that confusing, especially if it's for pleasure. I mean, nothing should be. And at the point, like, it got to a point where just, like, a lot of people were just lost to the point where we're going to the internet and looking for other people to sort of, like, translate manga chapters. But if I'm going off of the anime, if you're watching anime, the anime is good. It's gonna still be good. When they get some of these other fights animated, especially the last fight, it's gonna be good. So I would give this anime probably a B. Like part one, I'll give it an A. Part two, I'll give it a B.
Part one A, part two B.
Cause that's where I'm at. Cause I think part two, like I said, I think part one was a lot better. I think part
Oh,
two sort of tried to be a little bit more like Dragon Ball Z.
okay. For me, we're going by manga. Yeah, you're right. I'm gonna have to take what you said for that. Manga should not be that hard and convoluted to understand. But we have to go to someone else to understand it. Uh, Especially at toward the end, and especially when it started to drag on. Anime wise, part one really raised the stakes in where part two should have been in some
Like
aspects,
part two should have basically picked up on part one, basically.
and not have all this shit attached to it. But it is what it is. Well, part two, even part one fillers were not as over exaggerated and tedious as part two's was either. I can even stand part one's fillers. Part two, as a whole, God, too much like GBZ in some aspects. In some aspects, I'm actually gonna say those are actually somewhat good, but not all the way. But not all the way.
I think like the best filler for part two was the power filler. I think that was probably the best filler that we had.
Which was what again? Refresh my memory.
I think that was what it was called. I forgot exactly what happened in it, but I know it was like this long filler that was like 5 episodes. I think it was called Power. Like everyone thought it was a decent filler. They actually thought it was pretty good.
Oh, was that like a movie?
No, that was a filler. I'm pretty sure that was a filler.
No, it was almost like a movie. I mean,
Yeah, it was almost like a movie, but it was a filler.
yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, okay, yeah. Rating manga, I guess. I guess I'm gonna be generous and say a B minus. Part one, A. Part two, anime. Uh, C. C, and I'm being generous. That I'm being
Because of
generous.
all that Dragon Ball Z stuff, right?
Yeah, because of that DBZ stuff. Like it should have been more like toward what part one was, but it kind of screwed up. It
Yeah,
like trans.
a little more scaled down.
Yeah, part two at the end though. Yeah, yeah. It's like okay, now we're getting back to where we used to be. It only had to take
Like
like y'all.
part two, the only thing that ending, it's just the ending felt a little bit rushed. There wasn't a lot of. There's still a lot of things that I know a lot of people are still, got questions about because it doesn't really wrap it up too well. It
It
just
doesn't
sort of
answer
skips
much
through
questions
everything.
either.
Yeah, it doesn't answer a lot of questions.
All right. That being said, that is our. I
That has
don't.
been the Naruto retrospective.
God knows I don't know where this thing is going to clock out at, but you listen this far. Thank you. All I gotta say. I'm
Yeah,
saying
thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking
listening.
with us.
Yeah, gotta start thanking people for listening to me or us for this long. That being said, I am Red Edge X.
And this is
I've been
Senju
more.
Sun.
Shit, I messed up. Gotta have it. I
Hey, you
am
don't
Red.
have to sign out that way all the time. Just thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like the video. We'll see you later.
Yeah, it's late. Brain scrambled and stuff. Thank you and good night. Oh wait.